Traditionals to conclude the 1983 college football season. The Alabama Crimson Tide and the Auburn Tigers. Auburn had a 10-game edge in the series at one time. Alabama came back to take a 10-game edge. Then last year, Auburn broke Alabama's 10-game winning string, 23-22. This time it is Auburn with a lofty ranking, third in the nation in the Sugar Bowl. A 7-game win streak, and Alabama would dearly love to break it today in Birmingham.
Football Today. Today, we're live at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, with Jack Whitaker, Jim Lampley, and Bino Cook.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Battle of the State of Alabama. This will be the biggest one they've seen since the Indian Wars. It's for the football supremacy of this state. A supremacy held for the last quarter of a century by Alabama and the sainted Bear Bryant. But now Auburn has had the audacity to really pose a serious threat, and we're here to see the first skirmish. With me, of course, Bino Cook and Jim Lampley. Lamps, how are you?
Well, I'm great, and I've been to this ball game before. I think it's great that we get to come out of the studio once a year and come to experience this atmosphere. This is a terrific rivalry, but it has a few added elements this year as the Auburn people feel they're on the verge of a big turnaround, some kind of a change in the traditional relationship the two schools have played with one another. And Bino, everybody talks about the uniqueness and the importance of their traditional rivalry. This one is one that's really unusual.
Yes, it is, because they played in 1907, and then they did not play again until 1948. 41 years. Now, the reason they broke off in 1907 was a fight over money and the size of the traveling squad. Then finally, the governor in the 40s of Alabama, an Auburn graduate, said, hey, you're going to play each other. And he said, if you don't play, you're not going to get state funds. So they started playing in 1948. Now, the contract is up in 1988, and Auburn is saying, hey, we want this home and home. We want to play in the odd years at Auburn, and you can play Alabama wherever you want. There won't be a 41 hiatus next time out.
No more 41 years hiatus, for sure, for a game that encompasses politics, social ties, much of what goes on in daily life in this state. We'll have more about it right after this.
In Birmingham, Alabama, where the Alabama-Auburn game is just moments away. We're waiting for another thing today, too, and that's the announcement by the Downtown Athletic Club in New York of the 1983 Heisman Trophy winner. It'll be announced in a few hours, and the Downtown Athletic Club has invited the three leading participants to come there, and we're going to talk with them now. First off, Mike Rozier of Nebraska, and Steve Young from Brigham Young University, and Doug FLUTIE from Boston College. Mike Rozier, I understand you had a little bit of a celebration out there in Lincoln, Nebraska last night. You pretty tired?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty tired, you know, but I had to do it. You know, it was for Coach Osborne and Bob Devaney. It was their 100th win. You know, I came back from New Jersey, fly down there, then I fly back up here. But, you know, I'm pretty used to it by now.
Mike, from Woodrow Wilson High School in Camden, New Jersey to Lincoln, Nebraska is a long way. Was it hard to make the adjustment?
Yes, it was, really. But I went down to Clarksville, Kansas for 1 year. I did 1 year down there. Then I went to the University of Nebraska. You know, I was still homesick, and I wanted to go home. But, you know, I just look at it as part of growing up. You know, sooner or later I had to leave home and do the best I can on my own. Well, I just hung in there.
I'm sure you're glad now that you chose Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Well, good luck with this Heisman Trophy thing. You've had a marvelous year, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And Steve Young from Brigham Young University. You went from Greenwich, Connecticut to Utah. Was that a big adjustment for you?
Oh, very definitely. I think it was the difference, the big difference in the backgrounds with people growing up. It's a lot different, so you had to get used to it. Life's a lot slower out there, so it was a big change, but something that was welcome and I've really gotten used to, and it's, you know, I really think of it as almost home now.
Well, you're a marvelous-looking football player, Steve. You had a marvelous year with a great ball club, and I know you've told us earlier what the Heisman Trophy would mean to you.
Very definitely. You know, it's a great honor, and I'm flattered just to be within these two guys right here. Just to be mentioned in the same breath as these guys is quite an honor.
Well, you've given us a lot of thrills, even if one's only on videotape, Steve, and good luck.
Thank you.
As our esteemed director, Andy Sedaris, would remind us, never forget the little people. So, Doug FLUTIE, you're a very big little people, and you're a junior, so I'm sure that if it doesn't come your way today, it'll be mitigated by the fact that you have another year.
Yeah, that's true. I do have another year. I'm just honored to be here and be a part of it all right now. It's a great experience for me. I'm just enjoying it.
Well, you certainly belong there with it too, Doug. Are you looking forward to the Vatican Bowl against Notre Dame?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot going on down there. It's a big, we're calling it the Catholic Championship, and the game with Notre Dame, it's going to be a big rivalry. I think we're going to start something up here.
Well, I wish you a lot of luck in that game, and to Steve Young and Mike Rozier, good luck in your bowl games, gentlemen, and thank you very much for being with us.
That's right.
We'll be back here, Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, for the Auburn-Alabama game for the bragging rights to this state in football in just a moment.
Field on what Auburn fans believe may be the beginning of a new era for them. As I mentioned earlier in the telecast, there's the belief on the part of a lot of Auburn fans that they may be in a position to begin reversing the relationship that they have always had with Alabama. They believe they may be able to move into a period of football dominance. I don't know of a greater authority to talk about this particular game than our own Keith Jackson, the foremost broadcaster of college football games, of course, in this country, and a man who's covered this one about a dozen times. And I wonder, Keith, if you believe we'd be hearing all the things we're hearing from the Auburn fans and reading this week if it were still a Paul Bear Bryant team which would take the field for Alabama.
Jim, I don't think so, because Paul Bryant had risen to unparalleled posture in this state and in this part of the country. There were a couple of instances, perhaps, that might have told Paul, however, that something had to be done, which may have helped make his decision to quit, and that was a young man named Ben Tamburello, who's going to start at center today for Auburn. Now, he thought he had him recruited for Alabama, but then he changed his mind and went to Auburn. There was a message in that, and I think Paul knew it.
There's an irony also, perhaps, in the fact that if you were going to pick one present coach who seems to embody some of the qualities that Bryant infiltrated into the culture of this state, it would be Pat Dye of Auburn.
He took Paul Bryant's system to Auburn. There's no question about it, Jimmy. He coached under Bryant for 6 years, played over at Georgia, knew all about the legacy and tradition of Alabama and Auburn as well. They're so closely located, and they are not national teams. You know, these people come from here. Very, very seldom do you find somebody from as far away as New York. New York is represented on the Alabama roster by 2 players, but not very many.
Now, it's a rare opportunity for us to have you in a more informal setting where you can be a little more interpretive. As you go over your spotting chart for this game and evaluate the teams position by position, is there reason for Auburn to believe that they'd turned the tide in recruiting against Alabama?
I think for the moment, yes. It's up to Ray Perkins now to prove himself. But when you look across the roster of the 2 teams, you have to say, based on their accomplishments of the season, Auburn has the better manpower. Ray Perkins is under the gun today. And everybody talks about the pressure on Pat Dye. I think there's more pressure on Ray Perkins myself, because he's trying to make the transition from pro football back to college.
And this game, of course, as Ray Perkins will soon learn and probably already knows, is a microcosm for everything that goes on in the state of Alabama 365 days a year. A game which, as we mentioned, cuts across politics, social ties, the lives of people from the South, like Keith and myself. We'll be back with more right after this on College Football.
Unstable and threatening for today's game between Auburn and Alabama. Auburn ranked 3rd in the nation, Alabama 19th in the nation. This is one of the great traditionals coming up next here on ABC after this word from our local station. NCAA college football. The Crimson Tide of Alabama and the Tigers of Auburn. Key man for Alabama, their senior quarterback. He is a do-everything man in the Alabama offense, and it's his passing arm today that has to be the weapon Auburn fears the most. His name is Walter Lewis. The quarterback for Auburn, Randy Campbell, a master craftsman in Auburn's wishbone offense, runs the formation as well as anyone ever has.
NCAA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is sponsored by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Goodyear, makers of Arriva, the all-season radio. And by Radio Shack, your Christmas electronic store.
The most precious ticket of this entire college football season may be won to this game at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Alabama is the visiting team, and the Crimson Tide coming into the stadium right now. Coach Ray Perkins, a record of 7-3. This is a game that could be a season maker for them. They're coming off a loss at Boston College. They're headed for the Sun Bowl. The home team for this ball game is from down the road a ways, down near the Georgia-Alabama line. The Plainsmen, the Tigers, the War Eagle of Auburn. They have stumbled just one time against the Texas Longhorns, the #2 team in the nation. They have had 3 weeks to get the walking wounded ready to play. Their coach, Pat Dye, they won here a year ago, 23-22. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, along with Coach Frank Broyles. And Frank Broyles, as much as anybody, understands the various ramifications of this particular ball game.
Keith, let me amplify on what you and Jimmy talked about earlier. There's a lot at stake today because they're playing for football supremacy of the state. And what this means is that first, there's not enough good football players in Alabama for both schools to reign at the top. When one goes way up, the other goes down. That's true in the state of Georgia. When Georgia's competing for a championship, Tech is down. Over in South Carolina, the same thing. So Pat Dye knows if he can win this football game today, he's gained superiority and supremacy over Alabama and has a chance to compete nationally. And Ray Perkins knows he's got to stop that. If he doesn't today, if he doesn't win today, it'll be a few years down the way before he can compete for national honors.
We have bad weather at hand. There is a tornado watch up for the afternoon. We're expecting thunder showers through the afternoon. We had 7 inches of rain last night. What's this going to do to this ball game?
Well, we can't do anything about the weather now that Bear's gone. but I don't think either team is going to make any radical changes in their offensive strategy. Alabama came out against Boston College last week in the rain and didn't throw the ball. Their coaches have explained to me that they've got to throw the football to win against Auburn because the weakness of the Auburn team, if they have one, is in the secondary. Florida and Maryland passed over 300 yards against them. I look for Walter Lewis to come out and try to establish his good experienced receivers against that inexperienced secondary.
Now, the history on Walter Lewis, he's never done terribly well in bad weather, and you have the feeling then Alabama might be hurt by bad weather more than Auburn's wishbone game.
Keith, that's a very good point. The Alabama coaches said that Walter will have some doubt in his mind because of what's happened in previous years, but they cannot change. They've got to go with it. Auburn defense is just too tough, and their running game too good for Alabama to take any other approach.
No question, it is a new experience for all of us to come here without a Paul Bryant on the sidelines. But his influence, his legacy will never be felt more than it's being felt today. Circumstance, the forecast as it exists right now, it's quite mild insofar as the temperature is concerned. The wind is not a factor. That bottom line of that graphic is not very pretty. It has been very tough weather for the last 20-odd hours, and it's going to stay tough that way for quite some time. But this is artificial surface here at Legion Field, so the footing is going to be good for them. As the day wears on, if we get a lot of rain, then the ball's going to get heavy, and it'll affect some things. Auburn receiving Brett Fullwood, the deep man. He is a freshman out of St. Cloud, Florida. Lionel James sometimes does some of the receiving, but in this game to start it, we're going to use Brett Fullwood, and he's very, very quick. Terry Sanders, the man kicking off for white-shirted Alabama. He spins it downfield. It is short. It is taken by Ed Graham. Graham comes across the 20, moves it out near the 30, and Auburn will go to work from the 29. First down as Randy Campbell, a senior at 165 pounds, comes out to start at quarterback. Bo Jackson on the right side of the wishbone, 230 pounds. Lionel James, a 5'7", 170-pounder at the other halfback, and the fullback is a freshman at 210 pounds, Tommy Agee. The wide receivers are Chris Woods. He's 6 feet, 185. Auburn works out of the wishbone, and you'll see a lot of Bo Jackson today. They send Wood way wide as they come to work from the 29, and on the first play of the ball game, Campbell throws it just as far as he can throw it. Chris Woods is down there, and Alabama knocks it away. He had double coverage. So Auburn comes out, unlike Auburn, and puts the ball in the air as Campbell threw it just as far as he could throw it.
Woods, number one, is just going to run a streak route. But Auburn is going to try to let Alabama know early, we will throw the ball. If you bring your secondary up and put them on the line of scrimmage, we are going to pass it. And you can see the Alabama defender, Stan Gray, number 28, is right there. Comes close to intercepting it, but Woods fights it loose from Gay and goes incomplete.
Campbell didn't get a lot on that ball. It was kind of a weak goose floating around up there in that wind. So it is second down and 10 for Auburn from their 29. And once again, the Alabama defensive people in very close as they give it to Lionel James. And he gets it around the corner and up to about the 33 before he is brought down by Emmanuel King. Up front for Auburn, Ed West is the tight end, 6'1", 235. Steve Wallace at tackle, 6'6", 265. David Jordan, 6'6", 260-pound senior at Goodwin. Ben Tamburello, 250-pound freshman. Jeff Lott, 270-pound guard. And Pat Arrington, 260-pound tackle at 6'6". And it is third down and 6 now for Auburn. Alabama again. All the defensive people in very close. They set up in a man defense in the secondary. Pitch it outside to Bo Jackson, and Jackson comes across the 40. He hits the sidelines up near the 45, and he's got an Auburn first down as Stan Gay finally shoved him out.
One of the great football players in America that you fans around the country have never heard of is Bo Jackson, number 34. We believe that he'll be All-American. He may be the best running back in America. Number 34, big, strong, 225 pounds, very, very fast. And he makes his muscle, puts his muscle to use there for the first down.
He's averaging a mere 7 yards per carry, having carried the ball 138 times for 965 yards coming into this game. He is a sophomore. First down, the ball is very close to the 45. Up the middle, Bo Jackson, and he goes for almost 5 yards as he reaches the 49. Alabama's defensive people, John Henn, Mike Rodriguez, and Randy Edwards up front. The linebackers, Cornelius Bennett, Emmanuel King, Wayne Davis, and Scott McCray, and the secondary, Stan Gay, Sammy Hood, Ricky Thomas, and Freddie Robinson. They're playing a lot of young people. Change now, Vincent Elder, a sophomore from Decatur, Georgia, comes in at an inside linebacking position, replacing Wayne Davis. Second down, call it 6 for Auburn on their 49. Campbell outside with it. Jackson gets a block on the corner for Lionel James, turns it big, and he slips and he tries to cut back at the Alabama 28. And the Plainsmen are on the move. Emmanuel King brought him down.
The key to the wishbone is the operation by the quarterback. He's going to fake to the fullback. The key tells him not to leave the ball with the fullback. Now the pitch. One thing that Alabama did not want to happen. Bo Jackson getting the ball outside behind a beautiful block by James, the halfback, and another beautiful block by Woods, the wide receiver, who is occupying the defensive back way downfield, giving Jackson plenty of room to run.
Call it the 29 of Alabama, just inside the 29, and a first down for Auburn. They're opening possession, and they're marching from their own 29. Alabama showing a 7-man front right now as they shift, and Bo Jackson slats it over the left side and gets 2 yards. Cornelius Bennett, a freshman from Birmingham, an outside linebacker, making the tackle. He's 6'4", 215, a true freshman. And destined for stardom, it would seem, at Tuscaloosa. A look at the coaches now. That's Pat Dye of Auburn.
What a great young coach he is. Started his head coaching career at East Carolina, moved to Wyoming, and back to Auburn. Just a great marriage between the Auburn people, the school, and that young man.
Second down and 9. Give Jackson 1 yard on that carry. Headed up in the wishbone. They've got a double wide alignment right now as they flex the tight end out, and Randy Campbell goes to throw. Goes to the sidelines. Overthrows Chris Wood. The split end. Britton Cooper defending for Alabama. Britton Cooper is another freshman who's playing in the defensive secondary. There's a look at Chris Woods, who's the leading receiver for Auburn.
Here's the Auburn offense per game, rushing and passing. You see they're predominantly a rushing team. The opponents, you can see how much yardage they have made passing as compared to running. But I want to say right now that the base defense that Alabama's used all year will not suffice against the wishbone. They plan, and I think we can see more of the blitzing and bringing in the defensive backs at the line of scrimmage.
Clayton Buford is in at wide receiver right now. They break the bone, and Campbell back to pass on 3rd down and 9. Goes to the sidelines for Buford. He tries a one-handed grab at a pass that seemed to be floating away. The wind gusting occasionally, and it caught that pass. Campbell did not have good rotation on it, and Buford couldn't pull it down. So it brings up a 4th down.
Buford was a quarterback as a freshman, has outstanding speed, runs a good route. You can see that he is open, but as Keith mentioned, the wind did get the ball sailing just a little bit. He nearly made a great second effort to pull it in, but couldn't quite do it. Gay was covering, number 28.
Al Del Greco comes in to try a 44-yard field goal. It will be into the wind. He has scored 225 points at Auburn during his career. He's a very effective place kicker, yet he has a strong leg. He goes. The ball is loose. The quarterback picks it up. Mike Mann. The man throws to the sidelines. The ball came skittering back to Mann, and Mann never got control of it. Del Greco was past the point of no return in his movement, and so the Auburn Tigers have their field goal try go awry.
The attempted field goal is really involves a 3-man team, the center, the holder, and of course the kicker. But the holder, number 17 for Auburn, Mike Mann, fumbled the snap. It looked like it was a good snap. He just dropped it. Let's see if you can't tell. The ball was right where it should be, right over the tee. All he has to do is grab it and put it on the tee, but he couldn't do it.
Once Del Greco had committed himself, he was past the point of no return. So Alabama comes to the attack now with Perry Good, the freshman running back, carrying for the Crimson Tide, and he moves it from the 27 up to about the 30. Walter Lewis, the senior from Brewton, 6'1", 210, opens at quarterback for them. This is Perry Good, who just carried the ball, 6 feet, 170, a freshman. The big fullback, he's an awfully good one. I mean, he is really a tough fellow. Ricky Moore, 235 pounds. Jesse Benbrough, 6'1", 185, a flyer outside, and little Joey Jones, 5'9", and 165. Alabama will put it up. They're working with the wind at their back. They'd love to run for a while, however, to get Auburn pulled in. But now Lewis goes to the air. He goes incomplete to his tight end, Preston Gothard. Preston Gothard is 6'4", 210 pounds, couldn't reach that pass. Up front for Alabama, Hardy Walker, 6'4", 270. At guard, it's Mike Adcock, 6'3", 245. At center, the son of Billy, Wes Neighbors. And John McIntosh at the other guard, 6'1", 245. And Doug Vickers at tackle, 6'3", and 250. And it's 3rd down and 6 now for Alabama from their own 31. Walter Lewis is really and truly the key man for Alabama's offense. So much rides with what he can do with it, and he's going to throw it again, throwing twice out of the first possession. He is hit as he delivers the ball, and it is almost picked off in the secondary. It was Quincy Williams who came roaring in to lay the pads on him. And Quincy Williams, remember, the last time we saw Auburn, played a very good ball game between the hedges over at Georgia and was a prime figure in Auburn's 13-7 victory. They're the defensive people for Auburn. The secondary, some people think there might be enough inexperience back there to make Walter Lewis's passing game work today. That time it did not. The punt by Malcolm Simmons spins it up in the air. Lionel James at his 25, coming back with it. Gets one block, looking for the corner. Gets it upfield and crosses the 40 to the 45. So the Auburn Tigers now with their second offensive possession on that 20-yard return by Lionel James. Very good field position at the 45. Now, just over the last few minutes, we've got some broken clouds, and the sky is not as threatening as it had been, but the wind may be partially responsible for that, blowing from right to left or in from that end of Legion Field. Right now, the Auburn Plainsmen, they go to work, the Tigers. from their own 45. No score, first quarter. Auburn ranked third in the nation with a record of 9-1 and trying to win the Southeastern Conference title outright. The ball is handed off to the fullback out of the wishbone. That's Tommy Agee, and he pops in there for about 3 yards.
Auburn would dearly love to establish their fullback on first down and make the Alabama defense close in so they could get the pitches. You can see that Tommy Agee, just a freshman, been the surprise of the Alabama offense, averaging 5.4 yards per try and 4 touchdowns.
Second down, 7. See if they got option to the wide side of the field now as Campbell checks off. He looked at the Alabama defensive people. Nope. He wrote it off in the belly of his fullback, pulled it out, kept it himself, and he didn't have any place to go as Cornelius Bennett, a freshman linebacker, stepped in and put a helmet on him.
Cornelius Bennett came all the way from the opposite side of the play to make the tackle, catching Campbell from behind. You see the Alabama defensive tackles. King is outside linebacker leads. Bennett is just a freshman, is third with 57 tackles for the season.
Auburn is looking now at third down and a long 7 to keep the football from their own 47. And Campbell sets up to throw it. Pops it down the middle for his tight end, Ed West from Layton, Alabama. And the big tight end, who has caught more balls than anybody else on the Auburn offense, holds it down for a first down. Chris Woods, far and away, has the best average per catch, but he is a catch behind, now 2 catches behind Ed West.
We see West had 15 receptions at the tight end position. Where Ed West excels is his blocking. Pat Dye tells me that he thinks he's the best blocking tight end in America.
First down, ball just inside the Alabama 40. Auburn down, had a chance. Inside the 30 of Alabama, got turned away as they missed a field goal try. Their little play action back there. They fake it off to Jackson, give it away to James, and James runs down to about the 48-yard line as Cornelius Bennett again makes the tackle for Alabama.
In trying to defend the wishbone, as we look at the Alabama defensive unit, the defense cannot swarm and just run and play football. They have to have disciplined assignments. 1.5 people to the fullback, more to the quarterback, pitch and pass, and sometimes, Keith, I know I did. I ran out of defensive players.
Second down and 8. The Alabama 38. Alabama jumping around, changing their defenses. And Tommy Agee carries close to the 45. They'll mark him at the 46. 8.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Alabama obviously trying to come out here and change those defenses at the last moment.
Keith, that's very important in defending the wishbone. In talking to the Alabama coaches, they said we've got to disguise what we're going to do because Campbell will change the play at the line of scrimmage some 70% of the time. If we show him a weakness and then he uses audible, then we can change into strength and maybe have a good play.
Third down, 7. He went to Ed West as tight end the last time. Campbell keeps on the option, tries to turn it back inside, and he is brought down right at the 35. So he's going to be short of the first down as big Randy Edwards, another Georgian who came to Alabama to play football.
The Alabama defense will try to make Campbell keep the ball on the option play. Why? Because Jackson has a 7-yard average, James 6, Agee the fullback 5, but Campbell only 1.9.
Here's Lewis Colbert into punt now for Auburn. They're beyond field goal range. He's pretty good at the coffin corner, but he just hangs this one up into the wind, and Auburn puts it down at the 1. Danny Robinson, cornerback downfield on the special teams, looked over his shoulder, caught the ball, and they'll mark him at the 3. Alabama's in the hole. Birmingham, Alabama, the weather is holding for us pretty well. Let's go back to that last play. It was fair enough for the Auburn man to come downfield and catch the football because Alabama did not have a man back to receive it. So there could be no indication of interference. He just looked over his shoulder. The ball was there. There was no Alabama man in the neighborhood, and he put it down. And the Tide now in a hole. Just inside the 3, they go to work as Lewis. Rolls in the end zone. Lobs a little pass out in front. Good to Ricky Moore, the fullback, and Moore runs him out of trouble and gets it up near the 16-yard line. Good call, good play.
Here's the Alabama offense as compared to the opponents. Rushing and passing, pretty equal. Rate of run and pass is very important. Total offense, 431. But that defense is not a typical Alabama defense. We're accustomed to seeing them being very aggressive and successful and forcing mistakes. Not the case this year.
First down, Auburn, 16. Auburn's throwing blitz right now as Tommy Powell, safety, had come up. Ball's loose in the backfield. They were trying to pitch it out. Walter Lewis was trying to pitch it off. And suddenly there was an Auburn man involved in it. Kerry Gould could not get back to it, and Alabama's lucky to keep it.
Lewis makes a terrible mistake here. As you can see, Alabama running back number 35, Kerry Gould, is not even looking for the pitch. Lewis should have glanced back out of the corner of his eye to see if Gould was ready for it. He wasn't, and Alabama very fortunate to get the ball back on that error.
Quincy Williams, that big defensive end, was involved in that play again. He had that halfback. He'd taken Gould out of the play. Lewis should have kept the ball. The loss is back to the 12. It's second down and 14. And go to the run with Gould. And he atones for his mistake as he comes blowing out across the 35. He only weighs 170 pounds, but he runs a lot harder than that.
Kerry Gould is a true freshman. Broke in the starting lineup in the Tennessee ball game. Watch the fake pass and run. Auburn, trying to rush the passer, take themselves right out of the plate. Now watch the move of this young freshman. Move right there on King, the best tackle that... watch the block on Smith, number 99. We have Hardy Walker, number 73, freezing Smith, the best pass rusher, out of the play, setting up the run.
Back to Gould it goes. And this time, Gould takes a whack as he gets to the 40. Good defensive flow, and the man making the hit, number 61, the nose guard, Dow Ortman. That defensive front for Auburn is tough. Doug Smith, 6'6", 275. Ortman, 6'2", 265. And Donnie Humphrey, 6'3", 260. You back them up with Ben Thomas at 270, Jerry Williams at 265, and Harold Holman at 230. Then you add those two linebackers, Greg Carr and Jeff Jackson. And I'll tell you right now, you're going to get some paint on your helmet if you start running in there too many times. It is second down and 6 for Alabama at the 41. Lewis quick. Fires hard. Almost picked off. Tommy Powell came in and hit Lewis as he delivered the ball. Powell is the strong safety, but it was big Doug Smith who stuck up that tree trunk of an arm and knocked it down.
Doug Smith reacts beautifully to the block on Walker. Walker raises him up. He should have been blocking him low to get his hands down so Lewis could throw the ball, the little quick pass, from close to the line of scrimmage over to the receiver. Walker instead blocked him high. 6'6" Smith got his hands on the ball, incomplete.
So it is third down and 6 for Alabama, running about 40% on the season on third down conversions. And the referee, Johnny Cook, steps in and stops it. With 4 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the first quarter, Alabama has called timeout. We have no score in the football game, and they've been playing on Alabama's end of the field so far. Continues to improve. We can now see blue sky as you look past the press box and the light standards here at Legion Field, and it's full. And it's Alabama calling the timeout to talk about things. They have not been able to move the ball particularly well so far. They want to get on the other side of that 50-yard line. No score first quarter, and Walter Lewis on third down and 6. He has Bendross in motion, coming back toward the ball. Bendross turns upfield. Lewis getting some pressure. Can't get away. They've got him. Brought him down. Ben Thomas from Ashburn, Georgia, the 270-pound junior, fought his way through the blocking, and he sacks Lewis back at the 36.
Any great defense has the ability to rush the passer with their down linemen. Otherwise, they have to gamble too much, and they get hurt. The Auburn defense, the big front that Keith mentioned early, put good pressure on Lewis and forced him to eat the ball.
Malcolm Simmons' first kick today, good for 43. Lionel James brought it back 20. James is deep again, wins at Simmons back. Doesn't get it, shanks it toward the sidelines and knocks it out of bounds. A very poor kick. by Malcolm Simmons, and once again, Auburn comes out of there with very good field position at their 38. Coming up on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. They're coming into the ball game with identical records in the Central Division of the National Conference. Both of them 7-6, so there's a tremendous amount of pressure on both teams in that ball game on Monday night at 9 Eastern Time. Now here's Auburn. Call it the 38, and Randy Campbell rides it off to his fullback, Tommy Agee. And Agee doesn't get a whole lot out of it. They'll give his mark across the 40, so give him 3 yards.
This Alabama defense has playing for them 3 true freshmen, sometimes 4 and 5. If you look at Malcolm Simmons' record so far, he's got a very bad kick. Sliced that one off just a moment ago. The Alabama defense is now beginning to gamble and take chances.
Long 7 on second down. Goes to Lionel James. And a little train pops it up the middle. He ran right in behind Bo Jackson and his fullback, and Randy Edwards, number 96, made the play for Alabama.
Randy Edwards has been a starter for 3 years. He uses his hand. The key for a defensive lineman is to keep your feet alive. You have to move your feet so that you can move over once you find where the play is going to be run and make the play. Fine play by Randy Edwards, the senior tackle.
Ball is at the Auburn 44. It is 3rd down and 4. Campbell drops off the throw. He tried to throw the football to Jeff Parks, tied in, and it was a very dangerous move on the part of Campbell because there were white shirts everywhere.
What happened on the play, Keith, is the defensive lineman held up legally the tight end. He never got off the line of scrimmage. Campbell had no one else to go to because in the wishbone, you don't have option in secondary receivers. You have one receiver. He was covered. Nothing to do but throw the ball away.
Lewis Colbert to punt. First one was 34 yards. This one goes high. The wind's going to kill it. It's going to be a short kick. And it bounces back upfield, and Auburn has to put it down. So the Alabama Crimson Tide get good field position themselves out near their own 34. All traditional college football games are games of emotion. This is what Auburn quarterback Randy Campbell says.
It means everything emotionally. We feel like if we were to lose this game, that it would destroy our whole season, even though we're 9-1 and already going to the Sugar Bowl. It means everything as far as state championship or bragging rights, and it helps in recruiting, and you have to listen to it for a year.
Randy Campbell, a comment from yesterday, and that latter part of his comment may be the most important. You have to listen to it for a year.
Keith, in my impression about the Alabama offense is their receivers that we talked earlier are open. Lewis has not had the protection to get the ball to him. I have not seen the Auburn secondary do a good job of covering him so far.
You've got 2 minutes and 53 seconds to play in the first quarter. It is the defensive front of Auburn right now, I think, that's got control of the football game.
In fact, both defensive fronts seem to have control at this moment.
They've got Vendross and Jones wide now on first down. Let's see if Ray Perkins wants to go to the pass on first down, and he does, and he gets better protection out of it. And Lewis threw the ball hard over the middle, and Ricky Moore, the fullback, couldn't pull it down. Another problem may have been that he looked back into a very bright sun.
Here's Randy Campbell, who's had an outstanding senior year. His leadership is just invaluable to this team. A wishbone quarterback. You can see he's completed 56% of his passes for 834 yards and 7 touchdowns. Very vital part of the offense.
Both quarterbacks in this game, however, are 1 for 5 and 13 yards here in the first quarter. Second down and 10. Run a little draw play. It's going to be a big one with Harry Goode breaking it up the middle and getting an Alabama first down on the Auburn side of the field. Vic Beasley brought him down for the Tigers, and it's first down tied Auburn 47.
From behind the defense, watch the hole open up naturally. On fake pass and run, you're going to see, I guess that was Humphrey get blocked all the way inside, and Goode comes right down the middle before Beasley finally brings him down. Another first down.
Good on 4 carries, 53 yards from the Auburn 47. The Tide now moving with the sun and the wind at their back, and Lewis pitches outside. It's Good again. Got a great block over there and turns the corner. He got the block from Preston Gothard, the tight end, and Vic Beasley again makes the tackle.
One thing that Alabama added for this ball game was the triple option, something that, of course, Walter Lewis has been very successful running for the last 3 years. They felt like they could put it in and maybe get outside and circle the defense, and they did for a nice game.
I would think that's where you're going to find the path of least resistance against Auburn, outside. Second down, short 6. And the right side of the Alabama line, Doug Vickers, missing the snap count, and that draws the first flag of the ball game. The referee is Johnny Cooks, and Johnny is refereeing his final game as an SEC official. Native of Rome, Georgia, retiring after 26 seasons. In his playing days over at Georgia, he was an all-conference running back 1943. Harold Johnson, the umpire, and the rest of the officials you see reflected there.
Foul, illegal procedure, false start on the offense.
Well, Johnny stayed in good shape, hasn't he?
He certainly has. I played against him in college. Was a very fine football player.
So that backs him up 5, and it's literally second down 10. Again, the little draw goes to the big fullback Moore. He looks around for a place to run and finds some daylight, and once he gets up ahead of steam, you better bring a big stick to knock him down. He takes that football down to about the 36, and an Alabama first down. Ben Thomas finally wrested him off his feet. It was in the LSU game where we saw Alabama that Moore had a tremendous ball game. He's very strong.
Watch number 91, Ben Thomas. Watch the effort. He's going to get knocked down by Vickers right there on the ground. But a good football player doesn't quit there. He knows that the play is still going. Watch him get up, make the second effort, the third effort, and comes over and helps in the tackle right there.
And it's a first down for Alabama from the Auburn 36. The first threat of the day by Alabama. Lewis under pressure, gets his pass off. Pass is incomplete. Coming across was Terry Good. Jesse Bendross was the short man. If Jesse had realized that Good was behind him and open, I'm sure he would not have tried to make the catch.
Once again, the front four of the Auburn defense, that we have 2 Southeastern Conference all-conference players on this unit, put the pressure on Lewis. He had receivers open, but did not have time to get an accurate pass complete.
There's the Goodyear Blimp America from Houston, Texas. The captain is Jim Dexter from Smyrna Park, Maryland. Our cameraman up there with him is Art Pepper. Kind of a windy afternoon for the number 96, John Daly. Defensive end levels Walter Lewis for a big loss.
What a great play by John Daly, and one that Auburn very desperately needed as Alabama was in field goal range. Watch from the left of your screen. Number 76 is going to be coming outside all the way now. Right there as Lewis has receivers covered momentarily, and he throws Lewis to the ground for the sack. Auburn secondary did a good job of covering on that play. Otherwise, Lewis could have gotten the pass off.
Ball is moved back beyond the Auburn 45. They've got to go to the 26 to get the first down. They need 19 yards on third down. Deep drop by Lewis. Better protection this time. Auburn, however, dropping back to cover. And Lewis has nobody to throw it to. Now he's got some room to run, and he is a good runner. And he wiggles his way on downfield to about the 32. Greg Carr finally ran him down, a linebacker for Auburn. And we have come to the end of the first 15 minutes of this ball game between the old foes, Auburn and Alabama, and there is no score. Alabama might have had a little more sensitivity toward the clock and spent another timeout in order to give Van Tippen a chance to kick with the wind on a 48-yard field goal try. Now he's got to try to hit it into the wind. That's a very long kick with the way the wind's swirling at that end of the stadium. Everything is good on it. Ball is up and no good. Wind kind of pushed it out and knocked it down, and so Alabama is turned away. As we have said, this is a game of legacy for Paul Bryant, the Bear. And Pat Dye, the Auburn coach, worked with him for 6 years and says this about the man.
But working for Coach Bryant had had to be a great importance to me in my coaching career because I learned a great deal of football from him. I was with him for 9 football seasons, 8.5 years, and we became very close friends. And needless to say, I had tremendous respect for him, and there's no question in my mind or any other people that have been close to him.
Bo Jackson, as his coach was talking, improvises, goes outside, and once Bo Jackson with 9.5 speed gets outside, it's see you later. He goes 69 yards, and Auburn takes the lead in the ball game. A big block for him. Chris Woods hit the free safety. Freddie Robinson took him out of the play, and Bo was gone.
The people in Auburn say the coaches that Bo Jackson doesn't know how good he can be. He may be before he graduates, one of the very great players in America.
Del Greco for the extra point try. The snap was high. The holder, Mike Mann, pulled it down quickly and well, and the kick is good, and it's 7-0. And Bo Jackson now with 5 carries, 109 yards. He has now moved over 1,000 yards at 1,066.
From the end zone, watch this spectacular play. Jackson is going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. There's absolutely nothing there. But every great football team has a back that can make something happen on his own. He can defeat the defensive man one-on-one. He can improvise. He can turn a bad play into a good play. Now watch Woods, number 1. Watch number 1 make the key block. He has tremendous speed, just the same kind of speed as Jackson. And he comes over and makes the very last block to the right of your screen. I hope we can see it. Yes, right there. He knocks down Freddie Robinson, number 21. We've got to see that again. Just a sensational play by one man's effort. Nothing there. Alabama defense plays it perfectly. But here's Wood. The alertness of Wood, knowing what speed that Jackson has to take the proper angle and to knock Robinson, the safety man, down, allowing Jackson to go in for the touchdown.
69 yards, and Auburn jumps out to a 7-0 lead, and will kick off now as the offensive team rests on the sideline. Bo Jackson.
The Alabama defense had played beautifully. Since the first possession of Auburn, they had stopped Auburn cold. They had that play stopped cold, and one player, his effort, turns it into a touchdown.
Joe Carter is the deep man for Alabama. The wind gets the kick and carries it well back into the end zone. He's coming out with it. The wedge breaks down at the 16, and down goes Joe Carter.
Alabama will be going into the wind, which might have some effect on the passing. But the Alabama offense, to be successful, it's a finesse offense, meaning they finesse plays, running plays, off of the passing. That's what they've been successful with so far.
Auburn ranked 3rd in the nation, headed for the Sugar Bowl. Only Texas in 2nd place, Nebraska in 1st place ahead of them. They still think they might be able to pull off a miracle and win a national championship. Here's the pitch back to Terry Good, and Good carries for Alabama up near the 25. After 15 minutes of play, here are your stats.
You can see that neither team really had the upper hand in that first quarter, just as even as it could possibly be. Both teams missed the field goal. The surprising thing is that Alabama's defense had done a good job of stopping the Auburn rushing game, and then Auburn's pass defense had limited Lewis to only 13 yards.
Yeah, but that 69-yard shot by Jackson will distort those numbers somewhat, won't they?
In the second quarter, they look considerably different, unless Alabama can put something together right here.
Good play by Good. He's got about 1.5 yards for a first down as Lewis puts it up. Sideline pattern, thrown out of bounds. You throw it that high in the air, the wind is going to affect it, and it pushed it off the field of play that time. And Good, the intended receiver, covered by David King.
Alabama had a waste down. It was 2nd down and 1, so they decided to use a little gadget play, a little fake reverse, send their receiver out of the backfield deep, hoping they could match him up with a linebacker, but it didn't happen. The safety man was covered.
You really think against that Auburn defensive front that 3rd down and 1.5 yards is easy?
No, I should say it's easier than 3rd and 2.
They're going to pitch it wide, and they get the first down. That's Good punt through there. Coming up to support on the play, David King. King couldn't quite get to him. And Jim Bone also didn't quite get a hand on him. And Good runs. He's a good-looking running back, I'll tell you.
He is, Keith. But look at the block by Ricky Moore, number 26. That's the key. Watch Moore come right here and knock down King, number 27. That's the block that springs Good into the secondary. And as Keith said, he has that ability to leap over and make the nice gain.
You know, he's got 80 yards himself.
And just a freshman, and Jackson is just a sophomore.
Good is out now, and Joe Carter comes in to replace him at the I-back or tailback position, and Walter Lewis is back to pass. That's good protection. Throws it down the middle. Joe Jones. Little Joey comes down to the Auburn 45 and makes the catch where King makes the tackle.
That's Joey Jones, number 4's 30th reception of the year. What a fine, fine receiver he is. But the thing on this pattern, Walter Lewis has got time. The Alabama offensive line protected him to where he could set up, read the coverage, identify the receivers and open receivers, and you can see Jones right in the middle for the reception.
Anytime you see a 5'9", 165-pounder going over the middle to catch a pass, you know he's a tough football player, don't you?
Yes, you do.
45-yard line, first down. The play goes into the middle with Ricky Moore, the 235-pound junior from Huntsville. Hounds on down close to the 40.
Ricky Moore can be the key in this ball game for Alabama also. He's the leading rusher for Alabama the last 3 years. He's averaging 5 yards, over 5 yards per try. Big, strong, 6 foot tall, 235. Keith, there's no way he can get a real headgear on him. Not enough room.
Good is back in now. Carter out. Terry given a chance for a breather after 2 hard runs. And it's second down and 6. That's Ricky Moore. Hard to bring down, isn't he? Number 45, Jimmy Warren, finally got enough of him and took him down, but he's got a first down for the Crimson Tide at 12.5 minutes to go in the first half, and Auburn leading 7-0.
Well, Alabama guessed just right against the Auburn defense. Auburn was bunched inside, expecting the play to come in the middle. Ricky Moore, we see what he's done so far this year. 4 consecutive 100-yard games.
Donnie Humphrey comes out for a breather. Gerald Williams goes in to replace him. Defensively for Auburn, it is Alabama at the Auburn 31. Walter Lewis pitches the ball outside to Good. Good surrounded by 3 blue shirts. Down he goes at the 20. Principal tackler was Jimmy Warren. Great acceleration by Good. He really slashes in there.
If he has, the coaches told me that he can be going full speed after 1 step. Now, we've heard that, and I've heard that all my life, but coaches say that he can do that. But on that last play, Alabama circled the Auburn defense with option play, and Joey Jones, the wide receiver, making the key block.
It's first down, Crimson Tide at the Auburn 20. And trailing by 7 and threatening now. That's Bindross, number 88, coming back into the picture toward the ball as Lewis drops. He's going to the end zone with it for Joey Jones. Touchdown! These are feuds, these old traditionals. You may have the better players, but you better put your hat on hard. And the extra point kick by Tiffin is good. And we're all even at 11 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the first half. Alabama now 7 and Auburn 7. Possession. 20-yard touchdown pass, Walter Lewis to Joey Jones. They ran 4 running plays and threw the ball 4 times on the 8 snaps in that touchdown march.
When a team has the threat of run and pass, it puts added pressure on the opposing defense. What we're witnessing right there.
Barry Sanders into the wind. Brent Fullwood is deep for Auburn. Low kick, handled well at the 3 by Fullwood. He comes out across the 20 and then is hit back. Look at the touchdown.
Yeah. From the end zone, when the offensive line blocks the blitz, your defense is in trouble. Walker, Hancock, Neighbor, McIntosh, and Vickers hold the blitz out, giving Lewis plenty of time to see the receiver and hits him for the touchdown. Now let's watch the route that Joey Jones runs. Now Joey Jones is a senior, outstanding. Walker number 45 is trying to cover him. You can see he's beat up from the very beginning of the play. All Lewis has got to do is have time and get the ball there. But it is a very fine catch as Jones watches it into the hand.
Auburn to the attack now from their 21. Campbell coming down, delivers outside. Bo Jackson gang tackled over there. 97, Cornelius Bennett. Right place, right time. That's about the fourth tackle that Bennett's logged in this ball game so far.
Bennett is going to be a very dominant football player. He stands 6'5", weighs 230, and the coaches tell me he's the third fastest player of the freshman class, running a 4.5 and was a fullback in high school. Number 97.
There's a loss of a yard on the carry. After the play by Bennett, second down 11, Tigers. 7-7 ball game. Campbell outside. Lionel James blocked from Jackson. James turns to the 28. Short of the first down. They're going to need about 3 as John Hand, defensive tackle, floated outside with a play and made the hit.
Randy Campbell changed the play at the line of scrimmage, went to the triple option. He wanted to get the ball pitched. He did, and Alabama did recover in time with Hand making the play short of the first down.
Auburn has played 8 bowl teams. They've beaten 7. Texas the only one to whoop them. Third down and 3. Campbell, quick pop. Woods had his man wide open and missed him. Woods had come into the ball game, brought the play, and Campbell had everything going, had everything set, except he did not throw the ball accurately.
On third and short yardage against the wishbone, you put your defensive backs and just about everybody on the line of scrimmage. Alabama did. Gambling, the pass went incomplete because of the wide throw.
Lewis Colbert, hot pressure on him, kick is away. High hanging kick for Greg Richardson, a quick freshman from Mobile, trying to go outside, nothing doing. He's tumbled out of bounds, and you've got a penalty flag thrown on the sidelines as they go rolling out of bounds. And it might have been a tackle out of bounds. It might be an unnecessary roughness call here. That was a 50-yard punt by Colbert. You've got 10 minutes and 6 seconds to play. We're waiting for the call now as the referee, Johnny Cook, talks with the linesman who made the call over there.
5-yard face mask. Hey!
Johnny Cook says face mask on the tackle. So they'll assess a penalty against the Auburn Tigers, and Alabama again will have very good field position as the sun is out bright right now. 5-yard penalty. Grabbing of the face mask on the tackle on the sideline, and it moves the football out just beyond the 29 for Alabama. Tim Brandt on the sidelines for us again today. Feet may be a little deaf, but so far he's been able to stay dry. Joe Carter and Ricky Moore are the setbacks now. As Walter Lewis goes to work, hands it off inside, or did he keep it? No, he kept it. And number 99, Doug Smith, had a hold of him along with Greg Carr. Greg Carr wearing number 54. That was the uniform number and the uniform that was taken aboard the space shuttle.
Watch Smith, number 99. He's an all-conference player last year and this. He penetrates, and by penetrating, he really disrupts the ball handling of the wishbone. Lewis has no chance. Smith comes clean in the backfield and just wraps him up and holds him until the play is over.
Big Doug from Bayboro, North Carolina, had played for Pat Dye up at East Carolina. When Pat went to Wyoming, he dropped out of the game for a year, but when Pat came to Auburn, he transferred. And Walter Lewis back. Smith after him. Lewis throws it in the crowd. Joey Jones was over there, and Walter threw it about 9 feet over his head. And why not? Because that big horse Smith was thundering down his throat. ABC's Wide World of Sports next Saturday. World Cup Boxing Championship, the World Ski Flying Championship, the Duke Kahanamoku Surfing Classic from Hawaii, as top international surfers are in the waves off Sunset Beach. And when you do that, good luck. Third down, 12, and Lewis the throw. Gets away and gets some of it back. They almost had him back inside the 25 as Doug Smith continues to make life miserable for Walter Lewis.
Every good defense has one or two defensive linemen that can apply pressure without the blitz. Auburn applied the pressure on Lewis, forcing him to keep the ball without the blitz, and that was a key third down for Auburn's defense. Now Alabama has to kick into the wind.
Malcolm Simmons had a bad kick last time on the 25 yards. He's got to hit this one into the wind. He gets some spin on it. The wind knocks it down rather quickly. However, it bounces around in favor of Alabama and finally goes dead at the 41. That was on the 30-yard punt. So that wind is tough going from left to right. I'd like to tell you something that's very important to all of us, because next Tuesday night, the gentleman to my right, Coach Frank Broyles, will be put into the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame. And it's an honor so richly deserved, and we're just as proud as we can be of you, Coach. O.J. Simpson is also going in with you, with others, and we're delighted for you.
Thank you, Chief.
It's Randy Campbell carrying. Never really had a chance. Number 21, Freddie Robinson, the free safety, had stepped into the hole. They'd opened it up, but then suddenly Robinson appeared, and Randy really didn't have a whole lot of druthers. He picked up 5, and for a moment, if Robinson hadn't filled the gap, he might have gone for a lot more.
Keith, that's a great thrill for me, but I'm also privileged to be going in with my close friend Darrell Royal and also the legendary Woody Hayes.
Like it's been said, that ain't a bad crowd to hang around with. Second down, call it 4.5. Campbell quickly to the sidelines. His pass on target. Clayton Buford just beyond the marker gets a first down for Auburn. Buford is a junior out of Palatka, Florida.
Buford has outstanding speed. The defensive cornerback has got to give him some room. No reason to get up and play him very tight and take the chance of going behind it. Campbell had been very poor throwing the ball early, and so they just spotted him that little flat pass and made the completion for the first down.
At the Alabama 48. 7-7 ball game, 8 minutes to go, first half. Up the middle goes Bo Jackson. And once again, he did it on his own pretty much once they got him past the line of scrimmage.
Watch Jackson run over the linebacker. Number 45, McRae, is being tied up a little bit by the blocker, but he jumps right over him. You can see the agility of this big man. One thing that really impressed me was that Jackson outran Herschel Walker last spring in a 60-yard dash, which tells you something about his speed.
He's rolling today, isn't he?
Oh, my goodness.
First down for Auburn, Alabama 36. And it's Campbell giving the ball to Jackson. He's on the loose outside. That was a good, solid tackle by Freddie Robinson, who's 6'1", 175. But Freddie is just overmatched against Jackson, who's 6'1", 230, with all that speed.
Keith, Pat Dye told us all of the staff that Jackson had the best practices this past week that he had in all of the time that he'd been there. This young man didn't know exactly what was happening to him last year. He threatened to quit before the Alabama game last year, but he's got things straightened out, and he's just a great football player.
Tim Jesse replaces Jackson now after that run. He gets a breather. Jesse, 6'1", 200 pounds. He's from up. And a sophomore. And they take it inside with the fullback, Tommy Agee. The field's wet, obviously, from the rain that we have had, but as the wind continues to blow and the sky continues to appear that it's going to stay clear, it'll get pretty dry along toward the second half of this game. No one has really mishandled the ball. We had one field goal missed because the holder didn't get it down. Otherwise, we've been blessed here with pretty good weather after such a forbidding forecast.
Keith, it sure is a better football game for everybody when you have decent weather. As we look at Pat Dye and the tremendous job that he's done here at Auburn.
Ball is down inside the 16 of Alabama as Campbell gives to Lionel James. And James trying to get outside, uses his speed, and picks up pretty good yardage. He had nobody in front of him, literally, but white shirts. But Lionel James is so quick, he just kept bouncing outside. And one of the officials one of the gentlemen holding the marker was run into and knocked down and is in some pain.
Well, Keith, Lionel James is one of the real stories of college football in the South. He's very small, but the coaches will tell you he's the best blocker on the football team. He gets right in the running gears, and he has that elusiveness. Even though he's not all that fast, according to the coaches, he gives you the illusion that he has blazing speed. And you can see Stan Gay, number 28, coming up from the outside cornerback, tries to wrestle him down to the ground, but not before a nice game.
Well, you see the Alabama player realizing that he was out of bounds and he was going to get involved in a late hit penalty. In dodging James, collided with the gentleman holding the marker.
That young Alabama player was Cornelius Bennett.
Well, that's a lot of weight coming and whistling across at his speed, 215 pounds, and I think they're going to have to replace that man who was handling the marker. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. But he really took a whack across the knees as Bennett came across, trying to avoid James and avoid the penalty. You've got 6:16 to play in the first half, and it's all even at 7.
Colorful breakthrough, Canon's 270F. It lets you make up to 27 copies a minute, reduces, enlarges, can even feed and collate automatically. But the 270F does more. It lets you communicate in color at a price that keeps you in the black. The Canon NP270F. For information, call toll-free.
We do have to get a replacement for the marker crew over there. And the game now will resume. Pat Dye on the right and Ray Perkins on the left. A 7-7 ball game. Time winding down first half. Auburn's ball. It is third down for them. The ball is sitting just short of the 12. They've got to go near the 8. We'll call it about 4 yards. They're definitely in Del Greco's field goal range if they're unable to pick up sufficient yardage here. Jackson is back in the backfield. Campbell walks down, looping around. Cornelius Bennett one more time.
Just on sheer athletic ability, Cornelius Bennett makes a sensational play, number 97, in stopping the quarterback short of a first down. Campbell had no chance to go after Cornelius Bennett, number 97, just reached out and threw him to the turf.
And that brings in Del Greco for a 29-yard field goal try on the season, 4 for 4 from this distance. Mike Mann, the holder.
Mike Mann fumbled the last snap on the field goal attempt.
That one's clean, and the kick is good. And you've got 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. And Auburn moves back on top by a score of 10-7. Coming up here on ABC, the Gator Bowl, December 30 at 9 Eastern Time. The Florida Gators against the Hawkeyes of Iowa. Oh,
Keith, that's going to be a great ball game.
That's a foot stomper.
Ball with peace.
Sugar Bowl, Auburn, Michigan. Michigan ranked number 8. First time those two teams will have played in a postseason contest.
Florida beat Florida State today 53-14. They really got after it. Hayden Fries brought that Iowa team right along. 9-2 record this year. Just close to winning another Big Ten championship.
Pretty picture there. Isn't that gorgeous? Clouds have moved out.
Well, maybe Bear Bryant is here. Don't let him play good.
He's here. You know that for a fact.
He's watching.
It'll be 8 o'clock Eastern Time, not 9, for the Gator Bowl. Correct answer. Right here on ABC. Here's the kickoff. Going deep into the corner and beyond the field of play, and they'll come back to the 20 for this possession. Auburn out in front by a score of 10-7. Of course, ABC Sports will be back down here in the Birmingham area next summer, too, in August, for the PGA Golf Championship out at Shoal Creek.
What a golf course that is. Ranked 26th in the nation, I think, in the country, in the world. That's right. By one of the golf magazines. Keith and I tried to play it. Keith played good. I didn't yesterday. I admit that.
On the 20, Alabama to the attack. Lewis Keith pitches outside. Good loose. trying to get to the marker, and he comes up just short.
What a tremendous block by the FLUTIE and coming in and picking up the free safety. He happened to be supporting the pitch play. It freed the ball carrier to go on down for a nice gain. As we look at the Alabama offensive line and the huddle and what Kerry Good, the freshman running back, has done so far.
When you get outside on Auburn out of their defensive scheme, those cornerbacks have really got some pressure on them, don't they?
Yes, they do. In particular, the free safety also.
Lewis back. Going deep. Joey Jones on the dead run. Out of bounds. Jimmy Warren covering. They just ran out of real estate. Jimmy had him on the boundary, and the boundary was helping with the defense.
Well, Joey Jones is a tremendous receiver. Has outstanding speed. He knows he's got that experience, and he's working on Jimmy Warren, number 45, but it's very short yardage, and Jimmy Warren doesn't have to be worried about up there. If they run up the middle, they're going to make the first down. So he very wisely stays back and makes the play and prevents the reception.
Walter Lewis has now broken Scott Hunter's Alabama season record with 245 pass attempts. He's got to let his arm rest. Just cranking it up a lot. 3rd and 1. It's Good. Oh, what a whack at the line of scrimmage, but it looks like he's got it. I don't know exactly who it was. They went helmet to helmet with him, whether it was Greg Carr or Quincy Williams, but you could hear the collision a half a mile away. It is a first down.
Keith, the impressive thing for Alabama has been the execution of Walter Lewis on the option play, something that he ran for 3 years under Bear Bryant, and also when he had time, his passing.
From the 30, 1st and 10 for the Tide. Tommy Bell, the safety, is creeping up. Now he drops off. They run the ball to his side of the field, and Kerry Good runs it up across the 45 to the 46, and another Alabama first down. Quincy Williams finally runs him down. You know what, Frank? If Tommy Powell had come on up there and filled that position where he had started, he'd have stopped the play probably. But by this time, Good's got up a full head of steam, an open field, and he's hard to catch.
Well, I think Quincy Williams, number 93, makes a tremendous. He's going to charge himself up outside, which is really a bad defensive play, but he recovers and chases the ball carrier. Good defensive players never give up, and Quincy Williams makes a fine play.
Kerry Good now, 11 carries and 114 yards, and Joe Carter trying to get outside and does. And picks up a big gain for Alabama. So here comes Alabama now exercising the option play and the outside. It was generally felt by those of us who have seen these two teams and studied them over the last few days that that's where Alabama might be able to run if they could get outside.
Well, Joe Carter ran right through the arms of probably the best tackler in the Auburn secondary, Tommy Powell, number 9. Powell had him for a short gain, but Carter just ran right through him for the big gain.
And a first down. Ball now on the Auburn side of the field is just short of the Tiger 43. 10-7, Auburn leads, 3:57 to go, first half. Lewis pitches to the fullback, Ricky Moore. And there's a pretty good-sized collision when Moore comes banging into Jeff Jackson and company. But he's got yardage. He's got 4.
Well, the Alabama offense is doing a good job of mixing up the fake pass and run, which has been their big playmaker, but they've mixed in enough option plays to keep the Auburn defense completely off balance.
Pickup is about 3.5, actually. The comparison of Good of Alabama and Jackson of Auburn. Both running backs having a big day. Second down, 6.5 from the 40. Lewis ends it off inside. Moore to about the 36. He's got to get near the 33, so it'll be about 3 yards on third down.
I think we should point out that Good's 114 yards exceeds the average total of the teams that have played against Auburn in the first 10 ball games. 106-yard average. Shows you what that young freshman can do. Big conversion down coming up, Steve.
Third, short 3. Lewis still got it. Quincy Williams after him. Lewis has got the first down. He's inside the 20. He's knocked down at the 14. First down, Alabama.
How valuable can a quarterback that can run a 4-5 be to your football team? Here is a perfect example. The receivers are covered. Auburn could not do a better job of covering more in the flat and the end on the curl. But watch the speed of young Walter Lewis, who runs a 4-5, weighs 205 pounds, turns it into a successful play.
And a first down on the Auburn 14. Alabama trying to get the lead here in the late going of the first half. It's Lewis calling his own number. Came outside, nobody to pitch. Turned it back inside, and Doug Smith knocks him down as he runs inside the 10, near the 7.
The Alabama offense really has got the momentum going. And Walter Lewis, as we said earlier, he was going to be a busy man. Throwing the ball, scrambling, and running the option play. Some coaches would say it can't be done. Run the option play and throw the ball effectively. Walter Lewis has proven them all wrong.
Auburn right now has gone to a goal line defense as they put Ben Thomas in, and Walter Lewis hands it off inside. Lewis was hit just as he made his pivot, but the ball was gone to Ricky Moore, the fullback, the up man out of the eye, and Moore's inside the 5.
Walter Lewis, being the senior, really wants to have a great ball game. Last week against Boston College, he was only 4 out of 12. The team had 4 fumbles, and they got beat. This young man's had an outstanding career. In fact, he's the only Alabama player to ever gain over 5,000 yards. That says something for this young man's ability.
They are the length of the football away from a first down. This is third down coming up. Everybody is jammed inside. Lewis slides off the right side guard, John McIntosh, and the center, Wes Neighbors, and would appear to have a first and goal. He's got it.
Keith, the clock is a factor right now. Alabama has 2 timeouts, and there's 51 seconds left to play.
They just spent one of those timeouts, stopping the clock at 51, trying to take the lead at halftime. You've got 51 seconds to play in the first half. Auburn leading by 3 points. Alabama owns the football. First down and goal to go just outside the Auburn 3.
The key factor here could be the option play for Walter Lewis, either keeping or going outside.
Gonna throw. Lobs it out. Joe Carter. Touchdown, Bama.
Goodness, Chief, the man in motion confused the Auburn secondary, and they busted their coverage. Look how wide open Carter, number 46, is. When Alabama put flanker Jones in motion, it forced a change in the coverage, and Auburn did not make the adjustment.
Van Tiffin's extra point kick is good. Van Tiffin is now 36 for 36 in extra points, and Alabama has the lead, 14-10. And here's a look at Alabama.
The workers on this assembly line almost found themselves on the unemployment line. To save the jobs, the University of Alabama joined forces with General Motors and the UAW to cut the plant's operating costs.
Universities can play a major role in economic development, assisting business and industry with their programs.
You need that kind of relationship in every operation that we have if we're going to be competitive.
Teaching, research, and service. The University of Alabama, Alabama's first university.
Nobody ever suggested it was going to be easy. It's a 4-point lead for the Crimson Tide now. They will kick it off with 46 seconds to play, and it is Brett Fullwood deep. Alabama used 12 plays, Frank, to go 80 yards. They used almost 5 minutes off the clock in that possession.
2 long drives by Alabama for touchdowns, both very impressive.
Sanders the kickoff, high hanging kick, and Fullwood at the 1. They'll give his progress just beyond the 27. and 40 seconds to play in the first half. Auburn with 3 timeouts, Alabama with 1.
What can you anticipate from an Auburn football team, which basically wishbone, as we look at the numbers on that very impressive drive? I think
give it a bowl outside.
And just let him try to break one. Don't think Auburn wants to give the ball up here with any risky plays. They can be very conservative with possession-type passing or go for the deep bomb, one or the other.
Campbell not having a good day so far. 2 out of 7 for 18 yards in the passing game. Going to try it, though. Got a little heat. Swings it out there to the fullback, Agee. And Agee ran right out of his chute up at the 30. That was a pickup of about 2.5 yards. Clock is at 28 seconds now, and Auburn calls a timeout. So with 28 seconds to play in the first half, and Alabama leading by 4, let's visit the Auburn campus.
Quality education is a continuing need in the information age. Through the Auburn Generations Fund, the university will be able to provide the faculty and facilities necessary for economic growth.
You know, it doesn't matter if you're orbiting the Earth in the space shuttle or if you're on your way to the moon. It's common sense that pays off every day, and that's what Auburn provides.
There may be some who think the price of higher education is too high, but it has been said, and truthfully I think, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
The loveliest village of the plains. If Auburn comes back to win this football game and finish at 10-1, they're going to have another big party at Toomer's Corner. I just know it.
Well, in a game like this, it normally and should go right down to the wire before it's settled. 2 fine football teams, well coached.
Second down, their own 30. They need 7 yards to keep it, but only 28 seconds to play. Campbell hands it inside. Agee. He fumbled the football, and looks like Alabama's got it. They do. That extra effort, the second and third effort, the spinning motion of Agee. Alabama people fighting him for the ball and then knock it loose. And you've got 23 seconds to play, and Alabama has 1 timeout remaining.
You can see Agee, number 30, fighting, spinning, twisting, forgets about the ball just a little bit, and someone just reached in and stripped it right out.
Manuel King recovered it.
Manuel King, number 92.
They're sitting on the Auburn 35. And 23 seconds to play. 1 timeout. They lead by 4. They stick it in the end zone. Woo, that's a big one. The pass is away down the middle, incomplete, almost picked off. Good play by Alvin Briggs. Alvin Briggs is a freshman from Greenville, Alabama, and he came across and almost picked it off.
Jones is going to go across the middle. Briggs, number 4, is going to break right in front of him and makes a sensational play. The emphasis on pass defense is moving and reacting after the ball is thrown.
Now you've got 18 seconds to play. Second down. 10. Auburn 35. Passes away. Pass good to Ricky Moore. Moore goes back into the center of the field when in fact he might have been better off to kept going to the sidelines. They'll stop the clock now. He's got a first down. No, he does not. Alabama spends its final timeout with 8 seconds to play. Van Tiffen comes on the field. So Ray Perkins trying to get 3 more as we come to the end of halftime.
Van Tiffen is just a freshman. Had a sensational year, leads the Southeastern Conference in scoring.
Updating the weather forecast now, we're told there's a line of very heavy, intense thunderstorms out about 50 miles west of the city. It's moving dead east at 25 miles an hour. So think about closing the windows.
Do we have one here we can close, Keith?
Better get out the bateau. That's what you better do if it rains like it rained last night. 7 inches of rain. Some places in the state, they had up to 12 inches, we're told.
In fact, right here at Legion Field, they had 8 inches last night.
It was not a fit night for a walk, I'll tell you.
Keith, did we mention that Van Tiffen will be kicking into that same wind, and it has picked up. It seems to be blowing about 10 miles an hour.
Oh, it's more than that, Frank. 15. Look at that big old flag. Pretty strong. This is 43. And it's certainly not a gimme from 43 yards.
The last one was 47, if I remember correctly. He just missed.
see the shirt blowing. That's how strong the wind is down there. That's not going to get there. Everything worked pretty well, except Van Tiffen did not get a real solid hit on it, didn't appear.
He didn't, Keith. He hit the bottom part of the ball.
Kind of flipped it up, and the wind took care of the rest of it. And Auburn gets it back with 2 seconds to play in the first half.
And they'll just run the clock out and go to the half, and both coaches will start making their plans, correct their mistakes, deficiencies, and see what they can do in this second half coming up. Ought to be another great half.
Alabama now playing the deep defense. We've got 2 people back playing center field in case Campbell tries to throw it as far as he can, and let Buford and Chris Woods have at it. Nope, just takes it, sits on it, and that'll do it. The first half is over here at Legion Field in Birmingham, and the Crimson Tide leads 14-10, and here is Tim Brandt now with Coach Perkins.
Thank you very much, Keith. The tide has turned, so to speak. You came back, you scored, the emotion down, an emotional game is on your side.
Well, this whole game will be emotional. You know, this game's not over by a long shot yet. You know, we're very fortunate there in a couple of places in the first half, gave up the big long touchdown with their great running back, Bo Jackson, but they're a great football team, and this game's not near about over.
Well, it looks to me as if Walter Lewis, optioning the outside people, has also opened up the passing game.
Well, it has, and we've got to keep trying to run the football, and we're doing a good job running outside with the option, like I say, but we've got to keep doing that for our pass protection's sake.
Besides Walter now, your defense has played extremely well.
Yes, they have. You know, they're playing their hearts out, and I guarantee you they'll play another 30 minutes just the same way.
Good luck the second half. Okay, we will be back with our halftime activities after this commercial message and a word from local stations.
The somewhat surprising score, Alabama 14, Auburn 10. I'm Jim Lampley. I can tell you that it is a thrill, just as it has been in past years, to sit here and watch teams with great athletes play. Alabama with Walter Lewis and Ricky Moore. Auburn with Lionel James and Bo Jackson. But it wasn't so long ago, within most of our lifetimes, when players like that wouldn't have played in this game. Big-time football has had a very positive impact on this region in recent years. It's with an eye toward underlining that impact that we look back now to a time not so long ago. And this is today's Fireman's Fund Flashback.
Today's Fireman's Fund Flashback is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent near you.
It was 1966, a time when you could still use words like hope and optimism. America on the crest of a wave called the Great Society.
Than it is today.
Its overseas adventures still seen as moral responsibility. Its domestic social barriers gradually giving way to a world in which all you needed was love. In the wake of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the remaining symbols of racism in the Deep South began disappearing. Among them, the lily-white athletic structure of the nation's last segregated major conference. In 1966, a running back from Louisville named Nat Northington sat down with officials of the University of Kentucky and signed the grant in aid that broke the color barrier in the Southeastern Conference. He had intended to go to Purdue until a visit to the governor's mansion helped persuade him to take a shorter, more important step. Northington would eventually leave Kentucky when an injury short-circuited his career. But nothing can erase his significance. He was first.
They explained to me that they would very much like to see Southeastern Conference integrated. For blacks to have the opportunity to play there in the programs, to participate in the school, you know, surroundings. And they felt that it would be definitely an advantage to, you know, to the whole school system, to the Southeastern Conference, to help blacks integrate and begin playing there in the SEC.
While Kentucky was the first SEC school to sign a black man to a grant in aid, it was here at the University of Tennessee where black athletes first had an impact on competitive success. The first of his color to play football here in historic Neyland Stadium was a pass catcher from Nashville named Lester McLean. Ironically, he was not the man who had been chosen to play that role. Tennessee had offered scholarships to 2 running backs named Albert Davis and Tommy Love. But Davis's high school grades derailed him to Tennessee State. Love switched to Michigan State, and Tennessee was left with McLean, who had been brought in only to room with one of the running backs. To everyone's pleasant surprise, he became a central figure on one of the school's best teams. And McLean now says that winning was the key element in the whole experience.
being a first black athlete, it is really a blessing to be on a successful program. I think that's very important. And then you get all the advantages for being a part of the successful program. You believe that you can succeed in anything and in everything that you ever encounter.
After Northington and McLean, gradually it became possible for black athletes in the South to look beyond what had been their only previous options, either to go to one of the predominantly black schools or to one of the handful of Big Ten and Big 8 colleges that recruited the region. Now they could stay home, and in recent years their impact has been powerful through the images of athletes like Herschel Walker, who rewrote all of the conference rushing records before leaving in a way no one ever had. Like Willie Gault, the champion hurdler and record receiver returner at Tennessee. Like Walter Lewis, who will finish with Alabama's total yardage records. Their presence seems so natural that it's almost too easy to forget how long they had to wait.
The South wasn't ready for it. The alumni, the fans weren't ready for it, and there weren't any coaches who felt like that they could cross that line and sign them at that point in time. But I think it was a political climate, because it was a politician could use integration to get elected.
Former Alabama publicist Thornton also perpetuates a popular piece of civil rights lore, that Southern Cal fullback Sam Cunningham paved the way for a new attitude toward black athletes.
Well, I'd say if you had to pinpoint one thing, one incident, or one person, I'd say it was Sam Cunningham. Played at Southern Cal, great fullback. They came to Alabama in 1970. In the Birmingham to play us. But Sam Cunningham that night gained about 250 yards. It seemed like he gained 3 miles. He was about a 235-pound fullback that went on to be a great professional. But I think the Alabama fans at that point in time were about ready to be number one. Alabama people did. And if that's what it's going to take, let's get some, and let's get them just like him, because he's a great one. And I think I think Sam Cunningham did more to integrate athletics in the Southeastern Conference than anyone else by that performance that night.
So the legend grows that Cunningham's runs opened the gates for Wilbur Jackson, who integrated the South's most prestigious program under the nation's most influential coach. For Mississippi's Ben Williams, first black at the school most deeply tied to the mythology of the Old South. And now their presence is so well established as to be all but unnoticeable. The canvas of the SEC's 10 universities revealing that nearly half of the scholarship football players in the league are black. It's the kind of gain you'd expect. Voter registration is another statistic that's way up. Still, doesn't it say something about the rare capacity of sports to break down human barriers? About a way in which football was really a part of a learning process.
Only in sports do you have to put up with the guy that he looks at you and he knows that your insides hurt because you've been running as hard as he has, and the pain of what you're discovering and feeling, all the sweat, all the fighting, all the things that you have to do, and you see yourself giving it all, and you see things in people that you don't get to see in people any other way. You find out who the strong are. You just find out a lot more about people and about each other. It's kind of like the guys who go out and fight a war together. I mean, man, they've had to survive. The same thing happens in a team effort. You've had to do the things that it takes to survive together and be successful and win the war. And by going through that, it brings about a personable respect and understanding of each other that you cannot receive moving in the neighborhood, going to school even, or anything else. I think that sports has that advantage on everything else that you can't get it any other way.
You know, for business insurance, Fireman's Fund fits almost everyone, large or small. For example, it helps insure the mighty Boston Symphony and Manchester Music, Pet Incorporated, and Fridley's Crossroads Store, even Sunkist Growers. So for your business insurance, ask your independent agent about Fireman's Fund. Large or small, this hat is just your size. In the yellow pages, Fireman's Fund Insurance Companies.
Higher education today. People pursuing knowledge, discovering more about areas affecting our daily lives. the University of Wyoming offers an outstanding program in zoology environmental studies. What attracts people to this field?
I think there's one essential personality characteristic for someone to go into this field, and that is that the person has to enjoy asking the question why. More than anything else, they have to want to figure out how the world around them or how the animals around them operate.
We're trying to understand a very complex system. This system is one which we have not built. It's a system that has evolved over millions of years, and it's fascinating for us to try and understand the interrelationships that have evolved during that period of time between organisms and their environment.
The Department of Zoology is in a liberal arts college. They're not just scientists, but they have training in humanities and in social sciences, mathematics, which allow them to ask very important questions about things that are going on in society.
We all need to know more about the environment, how we interact with the environment, how we affect it, so that we can make better management decisions for the future and use the resources that we have wisely.
Higher education today. Challenging, motivating the mind. The preceding message provided by the NCAA.
Now let's enjoy the University of Alabama $1 Million Band, directed by Dr. James Ferguson. Assistant director is Miss Catherine B. Scott. And the music is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And perhaps the Crimson Tide football team sees something at the end of the rainbow as they lead at halftime 14-10. University of Alabama $1 Million Band, 330 of them. Halftime score, Crimson Tide 14, Tigers of Auburn 10.
NCAA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is being sponsored by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. And by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge.
Say, Mike.
You found them.
Do you do tune-ups?
All the time, lady.
Yes, but can you guarantee your tune-ups for a year with free follow-ups?
At Goodyear, when we tune your engine, we back our good work with a 12-month guarantee. A guarantee that's got our good name on it. Now, who else can give you that?
A year guarantee on a tune-up?
For auto service that's guaranteed, come up to Goodyear.
Now the Auburn Band, directed by Dr. Bill Walls, and the music, Our Home's in Alabama. Where else? their exit now with the music Glory to Old Auburn. And out in the center of the field, before they go back to their seats, they'll form War Eagle. And it'll echo around the reaches of Legion Field. Are again appearing on our horizon, but at least the bands have escaped the rain so far. The football team may not be quite so fortunate in the second half. And we're anticipating an all-out effort from both sides as Alabama leads at halftime by a score of 14-10. Halftime, just about gone, 14-10. Right now, let's check in with our colleague, Tim Brent.
Thank you very much, Keith. We're with Pat Dye, the head coach at Auburn University. My first question, did you have a good meeting?
Well, you never know till you get the final results. But we didn't play very well defensively the first half. We didn't tackle very well, and they hurt us with the weak side option and the draw, and Lewis broke containment a couple of times, and so that's how they got to 14 points.
Pat, I was going to ask you about that because when I talked with Ray Perkins, we talked about the option play and your outside people and how that opened up the passing game.
Yeah. Well, there's no question that it's difficult to play the option and the pass at the same time.
Okay. Hey, good luck the second half, Pat. And that's logical, Keith. Let's go upstairs and kick them off.
You just wait. You're not going to be so dapper in about 30 minutes, and that big old rain comes over the hill there. Quickly, now, let's go to the halftime highlights, and we'll start off with Bo Jackson and a 69-yard run.
Alabama played the play perfectly, at least the first part of the play, but they didn't wrap up the great running back, Bo Jackson, and he improvises. That's where Alabama slipped up, and you see a great effort by Woods, number one, the wide receiver coming over, making the play. Jackson goes 69 yards in for the touchdown.
Made it himself a large part of it. Now we go to Walter Lewis, who's emerging as a star for Alabama. This a 20-yard touchdown pass to Joey Jones to tie it.
Well, when you blitz and you don't get to the quarterback, you're in trouble. And this is exactly what happened to the Auburn defense. They were playing man-for-man in the secondary. Number 45, Warren, was covering Jones, number 4, and he couldn't do it right here. And then this was the touchdown to the Carter in the flat.
And then Walter Lewis stuck him in the end zone to recapture the lead after a field goal by Auburn, a 14-10. Lewis Carter catching the pass. The kickoff to start the second half goes out of the end zone. There will be no return on it, and Alabama will go to work at its 20. Crimson Tide moving out of the 20-yard line, leading by 4 points. And I think, Frank, for the first time today now, the weather could become a positive, a definite factor. Nothing positive about it. It's going to take away things from both teams if that thunderstorm is as tough as it looks coming over the hill. Walter Lewis turns and hands inside to his fullback, Ricky Moore. 5 yards on the carry. The offensive unit has Lewis at quarterback. Good, played most of the time at a big first half. Ricky Moore to fullback. Wide people are Bendross and Jones. The offensive front, big people remain basically the same. And it's second down and 5 for Alabama, up around their own 25. On second down again gives it to Ricky Moore, and Moore is up to the 29, a yard short of the first down. As we look at the Auburn defensive people, John Daly had a quarterback sack from his defensive end spot. Doug Smith, that big tackle, made life miserable for Lewis. Dow Altman, old country boy at nose guard. Donnie Humphrey is the right side tackle defensively, and outside Quincy Williams, who had a big first half. Linebackers are Greg Carr and Jeff Jackson. Jackson, the leading tackler so far in the ball game for Auburn with 9. Third down and a yard from the 29 for Alabama. Lewis goes to Gooch. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he is knocked down at the 26, and Doug Smith made the play for the Tigers.
Once again, a big play by a defensive man. Time that Auburn desperately needed it. Watch Smith, number 99. Well, 3rd and 1, you need to penetrate. You need to get somebody in that backfield. Smith gets blocked by Walker Olin momentarily, and look at the effort. He comes back and slows Drew down enough for his teammates to make the play and force the punt.
Malcolm Simmons is in to do the kicking. 4th kick of the game. Lionel James is deep. Auburn should get very good field position. They peel out for a return. It's a fine kick by Simmons into the wind, spins it upfield. That's good coverage by Alabama. But Lionel James, trying to get around the corner, could not run away from Chester Braggs. And so they don't have all that good field position after all, as Simmons was able to spin that ball upfield into the wind, 46 yards. Auburn opens with Campbell at quarterback, Bo Jackson, Lionel James, Tommy Agee out of the wishbone, wide man Chris Woods. Ball is just outside the 25. West, Wallace, Jordan, Tamburello, Lawton Arrington are the people up front for them. And they set up on the wishbone from the 26. Jackson has 8 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown. So far in the ball game, and obviously Randy Campbell changed the play at the line of scrimmage. Pitches outside to Bo Jackson. Puts his head down, splits defenders, and may well have a first down. He's close to it.
Just a tremendous effort by Jackson. Once again, the Alabama defense confused the blocking. No one was on the cornerback. The force was there for the loss. Could not get Jackson to the ground. He goes on and makes 9 yards.
Just short of the first down. Ball sitting right on the 35. 14-10 ball game. Auburn out 7-0. Tied 7-7. Auburn 10-7. Alabama 14-10. That's where we are, just starting the second half of play. Again, Campbell on a long check. He may go something different here. He goes outside to Lionel James, and James trying to turn the corner. Will not do it. Number 34. Ricky Thomas, really the man that stopped his progress upfield. Scott McCray helped put him down. And Scott McCray was really in deep pursuit. John Hand is a big tackle, 265 pounds. Mike Rodriguez, 250 of nose guard. Randy Edwards at 255 for the Tide defensively. The linebackers, Cornelius Bennett, leading tackler so far. Outside, Emmanuel King, and inside it's Wayne Davis and Scott McCray, the backers. It is now 3rd down and a full yard for Auburn. Probably won't see anything fancy here. They need the first down. They just pitch it back to Bo Jackson. He runs over Scott McCray and goes on upfield past the 40 for a first down. The secondary for the Tide, Stan Gay, one of the more experienced, the senior at corner. Other corner is Sammy Hood. He is a junior from Ider, Alabama. And the safeties at free safety, Freddie Robinson, and the strong safety, Ricky Thomas. Bo Jackson is now the 5th all-time Auburn rusher. Well, you just wait till he gets through with 2 more seasons. First down outside the 41 for the Tigers. Campbell coming down the line on the option, gives it off. That's a dangerous handoff. There was very little room between Jackson and Campbell. And it's one of those plays where the ball could come free so easily. Scott McCray defensively for Alabama on the play. And
you can see that Bo Jackson is really, and Lionel James are in very fast company. Brooks Cribbs are outstanding pro football players, as you know.
Ball is sitting now at the 44.
James being a senior and Jackson just a sophomore.
2nd down, 7. Inside, Lionel James, first down. And had it not been for Sammy Hood, he might have scored.
Good little change of pace. This play starts to our left, comes back to our right. Good blocking on the linebacker, number 32, Vincent Elder. And as G said, James is in the secondary. Hood, number 43, is the last man, but he makes the tackle. 2 first downs for Auburn, Keith. Gives them a little momentum coming out first possession and making that successful move.
Ball's on the Alabama side of the field, just short of the Tide 44. Campbell to pass. Got Woods. First down. Out of bounds. Inside the 25 at the 24. Working on Stan Gay.
Keith, I wanted to say earlier, Randy Campbell is going to have a good passing game if Auburn is going to win. You're going to see Woods fake inside. He turns Gate all the way to the inside, leaving himself open when he breaks to the boundary, and Campbell, for this time at least, was right on target for the big gain.
At the Alabama 24, first down, Tigers. On a draw with James. Gang tackled after a 2-yard pickup. What was it, Bill Lewis, the defensive coordinator over at Georgia, said in their game that Campbell missed only 2 reads the entire ball game?
Yes, he had charted the film, Bill Lewis, the defensive coordinator, and said that he was so impressed with Randy Campbell, in particular the middle part of the game. Changing the play and not missing the reads and the audibles.
The ball is closer to the 23, so let's call it second down and 9.
He's got to check off to the right, Keith. There's one-on-one coverage.
Nope, comes this way and overthrows Chris Wood.
Went right into the double coverage. One thing that Alabama is doing is disguising their defense, forcing Campbell to delay his audibles. Keith, the reason that Campbell is staying there so long is he's waiting till Alabama makes their shift, and then he's trying to audible. Changing the play and going to something that might have an advantage for the offense.
That was the Golden Eagle, the mascot of Auburn University. It is third down, call it 9. For the Tigers. They break the bone this time. Give that ball off to Bo Jackson, coming toward this side of the field, and he's going to have a first down. He is down around the 11. Boy, I tell you, it is hard. I don't care what you say. You're a right-handed person.
You're right, Keith. It's very, very awkward, but Jackson is learning to do it. He's lined up at wingback. It's going to be a reverse. Long yardage. The wishbone is not that effective passing, but watch right here. Here's the key. Hood has him short of the first down, but he couldn't press the legs of Jackson, and he goes on and makes the first down.
Jackson now with 170 yards in the ball game. Let's put it on the Alabama 12, and the Tide defensive people are jumping all over the place, and they give it to Lionel James, and he cuts it back inside, goes to the 9, about 3 yards.
Auburn continues to give different offensive sets. The last time they were an unbalanced line with an extra blocker lined in tight, trying to get some running room for little Lionel James. There's Bo Jackson, record 12-170. Keith, I can't even figure out what that is average per try. Close to 15, isn't it?
If it's more than 10,
if
it's more than 10, it's impressive. 180 down, 7 yards. Alabama 9 into the stack to Jackson. Alabama stunt. He ran right into the stunt that time.
As we look at Ray Perkins, Keith, I have said before, Ray Perkins came into the toughest coaching job, I think, in all of my time, replacing the legendary Bear Bryant.
The only other job in coaching at the college level that I can even begin to equate to it was the man who tried to succeed John Wooden, UCLA in basketball. Of course, that man's Gene Bartow, and he's back here at Birmingham at UAB. Back to beat Auburn last night.
This is a big play, Keith. Third and long. They need a touchdown, not a first down.
Penalty flags all over the field. The Auburn man, I think, left too soon. So the Auburn Tigers now make a mistake. As the concentration cracks just a little bit here, they do it on third down, trying to run outside on the option. And the question now is whether or not Alabama wants to back them up on the 5 or bring up fourth down. And you know they'll be looking what, third down and about 8 or so.
Well, they would be third and 13 if they take the penalty, which would be, I think, a bad decision.
Fourth down will bring in Del Greco probably for a field goal try. Johnny Cook is the referee. He'll tell us what they're going to do.
It's kind of a victory for the defense once they get in this goal line position, 4 down. I think, as we listen to the referee.
Illegal procedure is called. Illegal procedure? No, illegal motion, and it is declined.
Yeah. They're going to force Auburn's hand here and see whether or not Pat Dye sends his kicking unit or tries for the touchdown, and he immediately answers by sending Al Delco out.
You can see the fullback, number 30, jumped the starting count and was in motion. Now Auburn is going to go for the attempted field goal. I wouldn't be surprised if they might have a fake field goal and pass or run.
Del Greco has hit one from 29. Wind whirls around, but basically it should be at his back. This is a 26-yard try.
The Alabama defense, this is the second time that they've stopped Auburn inside the 10-yard line and forcing field goal attempts.
Mike Mann to hold it. Ryan Delaney to snap it. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And so the Auburn Tigers come down, are successful with a field goal, and pull within a point of the tie, 14-13. There is the thunderstorm. It's a whole long wave of them, and it's getting closer and closer. A tornado watch in Jefferson County. Some of the people beginning to look for cover or perhaps even start home as they see the sky getting dark. 14-13 ball game now as Del Greco kicks off for Auburn. And it's Joe Carter deep for Alabama. Leading by a point, and the ball's going to say way back it out of play. And it'll come out to the 20. I'll not see what now the Auburn defensive people have in mind for the Crimson Tide, and whether Alabama will continue the option. Coming up on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football presentation next Monday, Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, a very big football game in the Central Division of the National Football Conference. Just one game separating those two teams and the Green Bay Packers in the Central Division. Lewis turns around, keeps it, throws it, got Joey Jones, and he missed him. My goodness, if he'd have hit him, if he'd been able to drill that ball and get it to Jones, Joey was gone. There was nobody in position to run him down. He had about a 5-yard lead on the closest Auburn defender.
The fake of the option play, David King, number 27. Look at the right of your screen. He's going to take the fake, and he comes all the way up and lets Joey Jones run right by him. Had the pass been accurate, it would have been 80 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, I should say so. Second down and 10. Well, the option is the prime weapon for Alabama. Lewis on a rollout. Gets it off. That'll be incomplete. David King covering Joey Jones on the play right in front of the Auburn bench.
And he was all over Joey Jones. I would think they'll soon come back and fake and go deep on David King because he took the chance and came up and covered the receiver on the out pattern very, very tight.
You sort of get the feeling they're kind of picking on King, don't you?
Yes, King will bite. He's so eager to make tackles that, and this is known throughout the conference. He will come up too quickly.
That's good in motion, and the whistle stop him.
I think we should point out that Auburn, most of this ball game, has been playing their defense with 5 backs. And this has hurt their running defense, and they're still doing this, playing with 5 backs and 1 less linebacker.
Alabama called the timeout. And 10 today. They have converted on third down 4 times in 10 tries. 7:03 to play third quarter. And the Tide leads by a point. That's Jones in motion. And Lewis back. They're going to get him. Fumbles the football. Auburn will not get it. Goes all the way across the field and out of bounds. Gerald Robinson came looping from the blind side and walloped Walter Lewis. Walter lost the ball. 2 Auburn men pursuing it and could not catch up with it until he went out of bounds.
Gerald Robinson has tremendous speed coming from the left of your screen. Runs a 4.6, weighs 220, just a sophomore. Makes a great individual effort. Once again, I think we should keep pointing out Auburn's defense has been able this year to come up with a big play when it's most needed, and that was a typical illustration of it.
And they should get the football and very good field position because Malcolm Simmons now is going to be standing back around his goal line. Ball tumbling out of bounds back inside the 10 at the 9. So out of the end zone, steps to the goal line, hits it up in the air. Wind's going to knock it down. Lionel James coming up, calling fair catch. The wind blows it back down the field, and Alabama finally stops the roll on it. And here's Auburn. Camp on Alabama's front porch after a 17-yard punt.
Give the defense of Auburn credit. Walter Lewis came out and was going to throw the ball. The rush got to him. He had to throw before he was ready. And the Auburn defense, having the momentum after the field goal, bringing the game to 14-13, took the ball away again in this good field position.
First down for the Tigers at the Alabama 26. 6:45 to go in the third quarter.
Give the ball to Jackson is what I would expect him to do.
Better hurry. He does. Jackson is chased and turned back inside as Lionel James was not able to effect the block out there, and Alabama had two people. They expected the same thing to shoot ball, and they turned him back inside and stopped him down around the 23.
Lewis Campbell, the defensive backfield coach at Alabama, told me that we're going to overshift the wide side of the field when the ball is on Auburn's right so that we can stop Jackson and force him to turn it in.
Gave him a 2-yard pickup on that and make it second down and about 8. This is given off to Jackson, and he slides past one man, but losing his momentum goes down at the 20, and Cornelius Bennett is in on the play for Alabama.
A little misdirection play, but watch this young freshman play. He's unblocked, but he also has the quickness, the presence of mind to see the play, and he's strong enough to go in and trip Bo Jackson after just a short gain. Again, Auburn's in third and 5 situations, been unsuccessful the last 2 times. They've got to throw the ball.
Campbell keeps it, dives, goes to the 15 and should have a first down for Auburn. Randy Campbell called his own number and picks up the first down.
Alabama did exactly what they wanted to do, force Randy Campbell to keep it to the left side. Watch the bottom of your screen, the left side of the line, do a good job of blocking, particularly on Randy Edwards. They forced Randy Edwards all the way back into the backfield, allowing plenty of room for Randy Campbell to fall and dive for the critical first down.
Now Auburn getting closer to the front door as they're sitting at the 15 with a first down. Campbell putting it up on first down, going into the corner for Buford. No. Almost. Only the hand of Stan Gay, the presence of Gay, perhaps. I'm not even sure he touched the ball.
Well, one thing that Campbell is doing, he's throwing into double coverage, something that I know Pat Dye doesn't want. You can see the linebacker, Thomas, number 34, covering him short. So now they have a deep man back there with him, Stan Gay, and Gay cuts in front, takes a chance to go for the ball, and just, let's see.
Didn't touch it.
Didn't touch it, just goes right through Buford's hands. Now it's second down. You can see there that Gay took a chance, went for the interception. Normally, ideally, you want him to go through the receiver and get the ball if he possibly can, but not take the chance.
So a second down and 10 at the 15. Auburn trailing by a point. They take a timeout to talk about matters. Well, during the timeout, everybody's trying to come up with an idea.
Good point, Chief.
Our producer, Coach Chuck Howard, who got a roasting last night from his colleagues at our season-ending party, suggests Ed West, the tight end. Ed has not seen the ball since early in the ball game, back in the first quarter. Drag him across the middle and see what happens. Second down and 10. Nope, they go to Lionel James. And nothing doing. He's whacked down by John Hand just over the 15.
In each of the 3 possessions, the last 3 possessions of Auburn, they've thrown the ball on first down and failed to make a first down and went to, 2 field goals, and now they're third and long again, throwing on first down. And I'm sure Pat Dye's not called it. What's happening is Campbell is changing the play. He looks at it, identifies the coverage, and goes for the pass, but it's been incomplete each time.
All right, they got West flexed out wide now this time, so he's not in a tight position, but a wide receiver position. Set up a screen for Lionel James, and he cannot get back to the line of scrimmage. And I think it's John Hand that messed it up again. Freddie Robinson also up in on the play.
It was a blitz, an all-out, sell-out blitz by the Alabama defense. Campbell had no chance to set it up. The linebacker was right over there on the screen play.
And that brings Del Greco in for a 34-yard field goal try at 3:53 of the third quarter as Auburn goes to the lead now.
Del Greco has kicked 7 field goals in one ball game against Kentucky.
That's up.
6 field goals.
And it's good. And Auburn regains the lead over Alabama by a score of 16-14.
Well, the Alabama defense feels, I'm sure, that on the 3 possessions, they forced 3 field goals.
In the fourth quarter, keep this in mind, Alabama will have the wind to their back.
One thing that you learn to believe in the wishbone, that once you get inside the 15-yard line, it's a goal line offense by design. You would take it on in and score. But what's happened is the last 3 possessions, Auburn has not got the touchdown, has gone for the field goal, and the reason? The forward pass. The forward pass, something that's out of character for a wishbone team.
Yeah, but you know what happened last week in the ball game between Texas and Texas A&M when Texas turned around and finally got the wind at their back. And put McIver in the game, they ran off 45 unanswered points. Ball is sit down on the 40 now for Del Greco's kick. Joe Carter is deep. 16-14 Auburn back in the lead at 3:39 to go in the third quarter. And it's way back in the end zone, and there'll be no return by Carter. So once again, Alabama's got to go from the 20. ABC's Wide World of Sports next Saturday offers that diversity of entertainment for you. The World Cup is the only major international amateur boxing competition that we're going to have before the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. It's the top amateur boxers from the United States, Cuba, and Canada representing the North American continent, defending their world championship. And Alabama to the attack now as Lewis pitches the ball outside to Kerry Good. And Auburn now watching him with a little sterner look, because he hurt him in that first half getting outside. Vic Beasley, the free safety, number 31, came up and made the hit on him at the 2-yard pickup.
The stunt that Auburn was using, the free safety had the pitch, something that's very dangerous. Alabama was successful in the first half, unsuccessful on the last play. Beasley, the safety, making the play.
They've got Bendross out on the lower part of the screen now against David King, and Bendross hasn't seen the ball all day. This is Good getting outside and getting across the 30 all the way to the 35. And an Alabama first down.
And a very critical first down. The first down, I should say, for Alabama this half. Good made a sensational run. This is fake pass and run. There's nothing there where he'd been breaking the play, but he has the presence of mind to break outside. Nothing inside, try the outside. And he shows his speed and goes down the boundary, and finally he's knocked out of bounds, but not before he makes the first down.
The biggest game of the season for an Alabama running back. He has 128 yards now on 14 carries. Lewis pitches outside. Joe Carter. Carter weaves his way for about 8 yards. Up across the 40 to the 43. At 2:50 to go in the third quarter. And Auburn leading Alabama by 2, 16-14.
Greg Carr, number 54, is what college football is all about. He's a great football player, outstanding student in civil engineering. He jumps right over the blocker and comes right out and makes the play on Carter. Otherwise, it would have been a big gain for the Crimson Tide.
Second down, 7. Second down, 3. Picked up 7. Inside, Ricky Moore, the fullback, breaks it loose. And he's on his way. Touchdown, Alabama.
There's a...
No flag. .57 yards.
How in the world does a fullback run right up the middle, untouched after he breaks the line of scrimmage for a touchdown? It's very simple. When you're in the blitz and your defensive back are chasing receivers all over the field, no one, and I mean no one, knows that Ricky Moore's got the ball. Least of all, David King over on the right of your screen, who is covering the receiver, and finally he realizes that it's not a pass, and he still tries to make the play, but he couldn't bring Ricky Moore down.
Moore now has 101 yards in the ball game. So Alabama with 2 backs over 100 yards, and Alabama has called a timeout. Walter Lewis going to the sidelines, and it looks to me like they're cooking up something for a 2-point try after their touchdown. With 2:20 to go in the third quarter, 2016 Alabama. what they want to do. They are definitely going for 2. If they can get the 2, then they'll be back to a 6-point lead. If they were to kick the point, they would only lead by 5.
Keith, there'll be 7-point lead.
7 points.
Yeah, get back on multiples of 7.
Walter Lewis gets away, throws it in the end zone, and it's incomplete. So Lewis, pounding along, suddenly looked back into the center of things, and he saw Preston Garthert and tried to get the ball to him, and he couldn't do it. And so Alabama's lead remains at 4, 20-16. Let's go back again to the touchdown.
And watch this run by Ricky Moore, the fullback. He's going to pop right up the middle. Auburn is in a blitz. The safeties are all firing. So Moore breaks on open field. He says, where is everybody? There's no one there except David King, number 27, who comes across and tries to tackle it high at 180 pounds at 235. No way. Now watch Vendros. You think experience is not important in having a good football team? Number 88 is outside of the blocker on the run. He's decoying King back. Finally, King recognizes the run, but Vendros backs away and says, no, I can't block him. It would be a flip, and he stays off of the line, the touchdown run.
Kickoff, try to keep it low into the wind. It's picked up short around the 12 by Ed Graham. And Graham comes on back upfield to about the 29. I don't want to belabor the point, Frank, but what's 4 and 2?
Is it 16? I'm sorry. I thought that was the 15. You're right. Graham returned that kickoff, and his brother plays for Alabama. Both of them will walk on. Ed Graham has earned a scholarship at Auburn. Keith, I read it as 15. I thought it was 15. 7 is 22.
Andy Campbell gives to Bo Jackson. Jackson's on his way. Goodbye. In your face. 71 yards for Bo Jackson. Jackson has now run for 246 yards in this ball game, 2 touchdowns, his career best.
One of the Alabama sports writers said in an article recently, he's the best football player in America that America has never heard of. They will after this.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Ricky Moore comes up with a sensational play and runs 57 yards. Jackson answers with a 71-yarder.
Keith, I missed the play. I was actually looking to see about the scoreboard, and when I looked up, here is Jackson right now. This is the first time I've seen it, but the block by Agee was the key. And watch the speed, how he accelerates and dodges Robinson, number 21, just enough to pick up his feet, an old running drill that we used to do every day when we didn't have backs like Bo Jackson that could do it naturally. Wide receivers always have to know how to block. On running football teams particularly, now Chris Woods has already made one great block that sprung Jackson to the touchdown. Watch him here. See what he does on Gay, number 28. Gay is a senior, and he gets just enough of the leg right there. Just a beautiful effort by Chris Woods, who was on the opposite side of the run, and he slowed Gay down enough that he couldn't make the play. Good team effort.
And Auburn's back on top, 23-20. Del Greco's kickoff with 2 minutes.
Keith, what's happened
That's
here?
the old Charlie Brown trick. The ball rolled off the tee, and he almost whiffed it.
Well, I guess Auburn's going to have to put one of their covering men over to hold the ball. The wind has picked up.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yes, they're going to have to take one of their coverers out of the coverage. And, of course, Del Greco should kick it out of the end zone. He has on the pass 4 times. Got the wind to his back. What is the score, Keith? I'm not going to say.
It's a good football game, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great game. What you learn to expect in these two teams.
Carter's coming. Joe Carter to the 16.
Keith, I don't think I've ever seen in one football game a better single performance on individual effort than Bo Jackson has done today. Tremendous runs. 6'2". What a weight, Keith? 228. Look at him. Oh, he's all fine. Number 34. Not only is a great runner, he's going to be the cheerleader. Don't blame him. Get that defense going. Better not take the safety out of the middle anymore, though, Keith.
No, you're right.
Ricky Moore will go right up there again.
This is Terry Good. And Greg Carr hits him just when it looked like he might be able to bounce into some open area. Greg Carr whacked him right on the numbers.
Keith, Auburn had their basic defense. Now they're taking out the linebacker, Daly, and putting in the extra linebacker. And the reason Alabama has made so much yards running the football, unaccustomed as they've been, and Auburn's defense has been so stout, they've been playing 5 backs on virtually every down, leaving themselves vulnerable against the run. Now they're back.
Nickel defense out there, in effect, that's what it is. That's 4-man front.
That's a good name for it. I forgot it.
Oh, my goodness. Walter Lewis bootlegs it out and gets up close to the 25. He may be a little short of his first down.
Well, you can't count Alabama out of any football game with Walter Lewis at quarterback. Any player that I've seen this year that could run and throw like that, you keep the defense so off balance. Auburn doesn't know what to do. Now comes their defensive people back in the ball game against the run, and out goes the nickel back.
Sooner or later, they're going to throw the ball to Jesse Benbrook.
And they're going to go deep right in behind David King, as I said earlier, who likes to jump up and take the run and cover tight.
They don't figure to do it here, though, on 3rd down and 1.
Everybody's on the line of scrimmage but one man.
Big Smith, Doug Smith, grabs a hold of Terry Good, but Good had pretty good line surge there, and I think he's got his first down.
6'6", 260, runs a 4.8. You expect big plays. This is one fine defensive player. The offensive blocker, number 73, Walker, fires by. The play is too delayed. He should have taken a step and tried to turn Smith out instead of firing out and just going to the ground. Smith making another very fine play, number 99. He's had a great ball game.
Got his first down by just that much. Lewis fumbles the football. Auburn's got it. Greg Carr covered it.
But the key was the penetration against the option play. Look to the left of your screen. Let's see who gets in the backfield. You can see, he just drops the ball. As Lewis was reading the fullback thought that he was going to take it out. Now let's watch Carr, number 54. He's right on it. Ford right there in the play in the backfield, and he falls right on it. Good camera work. Right on the man that we need to see right there recover the fumble.
Third quarter's just about over. Auburn has the football. First down at the Alabama 24. Let's see if they throw it. They got a couple of plays with the wind at their back. This is Chris Woods in trouble. They try to reverse it with a wide receiver, and they knock him down all the way back at the 37-yard line.
Oh, the Auburn coaches would like to have that one back. When Alabama came up with a sellout blitz, there was no chance.
Third quarter is over. 23-20 Auburn. More after this commercial message and a word from our local station.
Alabama with 50 downs to 12, but the running is about the same. Passing, a little bit of edge to Alabama, but look at the total yards. 1 yard difference. Just a sensational football game. Both teams well coached and playing their hearts out.
Second down. Auburn on the Alabama 38. Hand the ball off to Lionel James. He goes to the 31. They've got to go inside the 14 to get their first down. After that gimmick play, really, I think a reverse by wide receivers fit somewhat into the gimmick category, and it blew up in their face.
But it blew up because Alabama came with a sellout rush, bringing everybody from both sides. No way a gadget play has a chance to work. No way to take their fight.
23-20 the ball game. Auburn leading by 3. Third down. 18. Campbell pitches outside to Lionel James. Jackson can't get the block to him. Bo Jackson put his helmet on Ricky Thomas, but he got him a little low, couldn't cut him down, and Thomas eluded the block and made the tackle.
Pat Dye's got a big decision to make now, whether he's going to go for a field goal going into the wind, Keith, unless it has changed a little bit. Look at, can Auburn be that lucky that the wind has switched around a little bit?
Well, it looks like the flag is going that way right now.
It does. It very much does.
Kind of a crosswind, and so Del Greco is in for a 49-yard field goal try.
If it's unsuccessful, Alabama takes over the ball on the 31.
He's hit from 29, 26, and 34. Fake it. No, I don't know. Did you fake it? No, he didn't fake it. What happened? The snap looked like it was all right.
I think the holder juggled the ball again. I think Mann must have juggled the ball because Del Greco stepped up to kick it and the ball wasn't on the tee.
All right, now we saw Texas make a big play in the ball game last week against A&M, literally to turn the game around. No, he didn't get it down. Now, in this particular play, Frank, Mann has the ball, looks up. One of his teammates, number 21, was all the way downfield, 15 yards clear by himself. If he'd seen him, it would have been an easy touchdown. So it's old fire routine again.
Yes, it was. As I said last week, first time I've ever seen it work.
Here goes Joe Carter. And he's brought down by Tommy Powell as Alabama goes to the attack from the 33, and Carter runs it out to the 39.
Joe Carter is an interesting story. He was one of the fine young recruits 4 years ago. He's a senior, but this year he'd only carried the ball 39 times coming into this ball game. But he's looked good in this quarter.
And Ben Dross has yet to see it. Keep that in mind. Second down and 3. Up the middle goes Ricky Moore and gets a first down up at the 45.
Going back to the last Auburn possession, I know Pat Dye would love to have that first down play over that he had after the fumble with the momentum. He tried to go for the big play. Alabama, by the defense, stopped it alone. Just by the call of the defense. All-out charge.
12 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the football game. First down at the 45. Lewis has time. Now he's going to run out of time. Tripped up, 93, Quincy Williams. Well, if you got that long time to go hunting, if you're good at your trade, you're going to get your quarry, and that's exactly what Quincy finally did. Fourth time Lewis has been sacked.
I think the key here is that the Auburn defensive staff told me yesterday, we want to see if Lewis will really stay in the pocket. He's a good runner. We want to see if he has that pocket discipline that he has to have. So they just kind of cautioned their rush a little bit, let Lewis start running around, and Williams makes the great play for the sack.
Loss is back to the 37. Second down, about 18. Run a draw, nothing doing. Ben Thomas jumps all over Joe Carter.
And Dow Altman, the All-Southeastern Conference nose guard, made a sensational play, flipping the center's block and coming over and stopping the draw play.
Carter shaken up a little bit. He's going to have to leave the game, and Kerry Gould will come back in. Auburn leading 23-20.
And it's beginning to rain, Keith.
Raining quite hard now. Just about 3 minutes ago started to come down, and it's growing progressively harder. And now, once again, our flags indicate that Auburn has the wind at its back. It's turned around. And Lewis back to throw, whips one to the sidelines, and the pass is incomplete. Thornton Chandler had it right at his hands and dropped it.
Well, the completion would have been short of a first down. Chandler was crossing over, Auburn conceding the short yardage. Lewis was right on the target. Now you can see the flag, how it's reversed its field. The wind is now coming behind the Auburn team from the left to right.
That is a piece of real luck.
Well, you got to have a little planning. You knew that the front was going to come through.
Stop it. Malcolm Simmons kick. No, it was Terry Sanders doing the kicking. It was Sanders kicking, not Simmons. I don't know why.
Sanders kicked the time before, Keith. I guess he lost some confidence with Simmons.
10:46 to play on the change of possession. The rain sheets of it tumbling out of that thunderstorm that finally got to town. Miserable right now. My goodness. From the 27, first down for Auburn. They lead 23-20. 10:46 to play in the game. Pitch goes to Bo Jackson. Tries to slash it over the left side and does to the 30.
Auburn has gone into a goal line alignment. Two tight, no flankers. You know what the purpose is. They're going to try to keep the ball on the ground and keep the clock running. Control that clock.
Rain, and more rain. Second down, 7. Campbell inside with the play to A.G. A.G. keeps his feet alive and works his way to about the 35, but he had both arms wrapped around the ball.
Keith, it must be a penalty. The clock, yes, there
it is.
The officials have stopped the clock.
Somewhere in the middle of that melee, and Alabama's backing up.
Some type of
face mask. Face mask.
And it was twisting and turning. It was a 15-yard penalty, wasn't it, Keith?
Against Alabama.
5 yards.
5 yards. And first down. That's right.
Look at that rain.
Let's see A.J. You can see number 30, the fullback, has the ball. It was a kind of a trap play, a finesse play, trying to pop the line. You can see the face mask of the nose guard. The guy's left hand right on the mask. Twisted just enough to get the penalty.
And the first down up at the 40. Campbell trying to keep it and get outside is tripped up. Looked like Kurt Jarvis, a freshman playing nose guard for Alabama, reached in and grabbed his leg. And the clock shows 9:40 to play in the game and a 3-point lead for Auburn.
If the rain continues at this pace, you would have to say that Auburn has advantage not only with their style of play, but leading by 3 points. If you ever want the rain to come down, it's when you're ahead, not behind.
It's just getting harder, too. I don't think it's possible to rain that hard. Look at it. Pitch it. Jackson kicks his head down and goes under the stack and gets a couple of yards on it, so it's going to bring up third down.
Keith, in this stadium last night, they had the state high school championship game. I was visiting with Pat Dye this morning. I said, Pat, did you have a nice day yesterday? He said, I went to see 3 parents in different homes for prospects, then came to a football game last night. College coaches got a lot of pressure on him.
He also saw 27 fumbles. It rained about like this last night.
The problem is going to be snapping for the kicker, getting the ball to the kicker.
Third down and 8. Campbell on an option, turns it upfield and breaks it. Randy Campbell out of bounds at the Alabama 38.
Pat Dye would tell you that Randy Campbell doesn't throw very pretty. He doesn't run all that fast, but all he does is beat you. The intangible. Here he takes it upon himself. Alabama's going to make him keep the ball on the option play. He shows that he has good judgment. There's the end trying to take the pitch, and King couldn't make the play as Campbell had just enough speed to go in and back out for the first down. Watch the wide receivers block again. Number 1, Woods. This is a third key block. Blocking right now. Thomas, the strong safety, gets up right in under the shoulder pads and keeps him out of the play. And it is raining.
We can barely see across the stadium. It's raining so hard. This is Bo Jackson. Missed by 1. A caught for the second and virtually no gain on the play.
Alabama is backed up into a goal line defense. Obviously, they know what the strategy is going to be from Auburn. So Alabama has 9 men on the line of scrimmage and 2 safeties right up close as we look at the rain coming down. Goodness. Keith, you're right. It's going to be flooded before long.
Yep. I told you to get the oars and the bateau, and you didn't do it.
Have we ever seen a football game called because of bad weather?
Yep. All-Star game, 1976.
Yep. In Chicago. That's right.
Tim Jesse replaces Bo Jackson now. Ron Middleton, number 87, is the second tight end in the game. A.J. the fullback with it. And he's knocked down around the 35. That'll bring up third and long for Auburn. And 7 minutes, 35 seconds.
The rain is working against Alabama right now, and so is the clock. Keith, the water is now standing on the field. it's going to be covered before too much longer.
Third down and 7. Ball is given off to Lionel James, and he's dropped right at the 35 by Kurt Jarvis, and it brings up 4th down.
Randy Edwards, number 96, the right defensive tackle, short yardage. He should be penetrating. He gets in, just swims right through, is the term that we use in coaching, inside the offensive left tackle Wallace, and comes in and makes the play on James.
So it's 4th down and still 7.
It's going to be interesting to see if that guy is going to punt the ball, whether he can or not.
They've called a timeout, and they charge it to Auburn. So 6 minutes and 34 seconds. Now the clock's still running, but Auburn's called a timeout, so they lost about 5 seconds on that clock.
To prove Haviland Supreme gives cars engine protection up front.
I know, but...
Well, you should know. It delivered proven protection in punishing state trooper testing.
Yeah, but...
Where's the rest of my car?
Yeah.
Here it comes. To prove Texaco's Haviland Supreme delivered improved mileage, too. Upfront protection backed by improved mileage. That's Haviland Supreme.
Do me a favor.
I know. Prove how good Haviland is in the next county, huh?
Given a choice between learning computing and playing video games, which do you think a kid would choose? Exactly. That's why Zortek, a new learning game, was created exclusively for Commodore home computers. As kids play Zortek, they're really finding their way around a computer keyboard and mastering basic computer programming. So before you buy a computer for your kids to learn on, make sure it's one they'll want to learn on. One that plays Zortek and other famous learning games. A Commodore home computer.
He's a 1976 U.S. gold medalist, one of only 2 from Innsbruck. He'll be on the comeback trail in Sarajevo, Yugoslavia, and Peter Mueller can't wait.
Well, Del Greco is on the field. I'm startled by what I'm seeing. It'll be a 51-yard field goal try under the worst conditions you can possibly imagine. The wind is at his back.
But you've got to snap it, Keith. You've got to...
Well, they haven't been able to do it twice already.
Twice, that's right. On 2 other occasions this ball game, they couldn't operate as a team, the snapper, holder, and kicker. Now he's going to punt. That's the best decision.
Yes, it is.
I would have kicked every time, and I think most coaches would. I don't know what Pat was trying to do there, but he came back and decided to go ahead and punt the ball. Our producer, Chuck Howard, said he was listening to him.
Lewis Colbert.
Well, now the snap. That's the key. You tell your punter, catch the ball. Don't worry about kicking it for catch it. It's over his head. Get it off.
Alabama, the big rush.
Oh, he just got it off.
He just barely got it out of there, and he splashes it out of bounds at the 5. He's a good one at it. He's been doing it throughout his career, and he hit it only 29 yards, but think about the efficiency of it. Under these weather conditions, with the rain pelting down, the wind in their face, and Alabama's got the ball at their own 5, trailing by 3.
Keith, look how many Alabama white shirts are right on top of it. He got the ball up high, which is what you want to do when you get a rush in a situation like this. All you want to do is kick it high, get it off. And he's worked on this in what we call a wet ball drill. He's had this in practice. In fact, Pat Dye told me they did it last Thursday. They snapped the ball with mud and water all over it, expecting the rain. So when they get in this condition, they execute it, and they did.
You've got 6.5 minutes to play. Alabama's 95 yards away from the Auburn goal line, and they're trailing by 3 points, 23-20. It's amazing how many people are still in the stands.
Well, the people in this part of the country love their college football. Birmingham's one of the very great college towns in America.
I think I just saw my first lightning.
Keith, I saw the reflection of some just a few minutes ago coming back over our shoulder. Auburn defense, all they've got to do is contain, play their responsibility, not get excited and neglect what their assignments are, and they'll keep Alabama in the pocket. Don't let Walter Lewis get outside and get the big play. Alabama must come out and decide whether they're going to open up and throw the ball even with this much rain, or whether they're going to try to run it. I doubt if they will.
Now they're ready to go as they get a fresh ball on the field. It's virtually impossible to keep it fresh. Ricky Moore is the lone remaining back now as they send Joey Jones in motion. And whistle stopped them. I think somebody might have moved, was it?
Appeared that the Alabama team couldn't quite wait for the snap count and jumped ahead of it.
No, it was encroachment. Offside by Auburn. They're awfully close in there.
Watch number 98 of
Gerald
Auburn.
Williams.
Gerald Williams, yes. Jumping right off, and he's in that neutral zone and makes contact. Boy, that's a break for Alabama. First and 5.
First and 5 means a lot. Under these conditions, that deep in your own territory and trailing in a ball game. We've been sitting on 6.5 minutes now for quite a while. Auburn has a 5-man front defensively. They give the ball to Ricky Moore, and his just brute strength on the part of Ricky is good for 2 yards. So it'll be second down and about 3. Doug Smith, the defensive play for Auburn, and the clock is running.
Now Auburn is staying in their basic defense with alignments that they've played all year. They do not have the nickel in the ball game right now. 4 linebackers, 3 down linemen, which is ranked 12th in the nation against the rush.
If Auburn wins this game, they win the SEC title outright. If they lose it, they share it with Alabama and Georgia. Second down, 3. Lewis rolling it out to the right, lobs it upfield. It's intercepted. Picked off by Vic Beasley. And Beasley comes back to the 11.
Well, Walter Lewis has played a great ball game and deserves a great deal of credit. The range came on, and when he rolled out to throw the ball, it slipped and goes high, and Beasley, the safety man, lays back and bites the throw. Now, let's watch it from the end zone. It's going to be a bootleg, meaning backs to the right, fake to the left, and Lewis is back on his goal line, and the ball slipped right out of his hand. It's the number 81, Chandler, but Beasley comes up. Now, the smart thing that Beasley does, even though he's going to try to score, protect the ball. Don't give it back. Protect that football. You can see he's got it wrapped up real good. Bends over and protects it. Doesn't want to turn it over.
Enormous break for Auburn at 5:39 to play in the game. And it's Randy Campbell, the quarterback, keeping to about the 7 for a pickup of 4. Rain is not quite as hard as it was, but it's still hard enough to drown most people.
Yeah, Keith, the Alabama offensive line has done their job for them. With Pat Arrington, all-conference, number 76, and David Jordan, the left guard, all-conference both last year and this year, and Jackson, of course, having a sensational game.
That's Tommy Agee with the ball. No, they take it outside with it and fumble it, and Alabama's going to come up with it. Agee had it, and the ball squirted out. I couldn't tell whether he really had it or whether Campbell tried to take it away and give it outside. But the ball came flying out of his grasp, and Alabama recovers. It's Randy Edwards.
Agee is just a freshman. The option play was going right over the left guard. David Jordan, the all-conference blocker, but Agee did not protect the ball, and it pops out.
And you've got 5:04 to play in the football game, and Alabama gets the ball back at their 7.
The second fumble for Agee, one right before the half that didn't cost Auburn anything.
23-20 Auburn. They won last year 23-22 to break that 10-game Alabama winning string. A long looping pass downfield, and Joey Jones can't run it down. And now it looks like the wind has turned around one more time. It's sort of favoring Alabama.
Well, it would appear that because Walter Lewis threw that ball, Keith, let's see, about 55 or 60 yards down the field. Now, the Auburn defensive cornerbacks were playing way too tight for this situation. They were up very tight, playing the receivers very close. They should deepen up, and I think, and give them concede the short pass and not let them get behind them. Warren and David King are the two that have got the tough responsibility.
Second down and 10, Alabama from their own 7. Pitch goes to Ricky Moore. Moore splashing along, is hit right along the line of scrimmage by Greg Carr, number 54. Number 27, David King, also coming up on the play. Once he saw that running back get outside, King came like a bullet.
Well, King is an all-Southeastern Conference defensive back last year and this. Really aggressive player, likes to come up and tackle, and an excellent tackler. Number 54, Greg Carr, the all-conference linebacker, leads the team in tackling.
It is third down, call it 9. Ball is near the 8. Lewis back. Down the middle, incomplete. There was an All-American collision downfield as Jesse Bendross and Jimmy Warren ran together. And Bendross has still not caught a ball in this game.
This is the post route. The pass was thrown, and I think beautifully by Lewis. Watch, right in between the linebacker and the cornerback Warren, and Bendross took his eyes off it. He hit him on the left hip. Should have made the play.
Lewis is now 5 out of 20 for 61 yards, and Terry Sanders is in to punt. Out of his end zone.
Auburn does not put a safety man back.
And Sanders doesn't get much of it. Kind of squibs it upfield, and it is so wet now, the ball just hits like an old soft turnip and dies right there. 4:04 to play. 23-20, Auburn, 4:04 to play. Still rain coming down in sheets here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. The weather was pretty good until we hit the early going of the final quarter, actually with about 10 minutes to play in the game. Down it came. Randy Campbell gives to Lionel James, falls on the ball, back on the 40. This possession started about where? Where did it? I can't even see the markers. There's so much water on the field.
5, 10, 15, 20,
36.
36.
The loss is 4 yards.
Well, Lionel James took his eyes off the ball. The pitch was back in perfect order, and James was looking to see where he could cut and just dropped it.
I don't understand why the clock wasn't on. I guess they stopped it to dry off the ball. Campbell keeps it. Turns it in the middle and goes down about the 38. So they're looking at third down and about 12 now. Alabama's timeouts. Let's see. They have one left. Auburn has one left.
Alabama defense, other than a couple of big plays, has, I think, Keith, have done an outstanding job. Jackson on individual effort, 2 long runs, the only 2 touchdowns that they've given up.
Played very well.
And they've got to stop them here. They're really penetrating and blitzing.
Third and 12. It's Campbell getting loose on the option, and they get him short of the first down. He got around the corner in pretty good shape, and then he got ankle deep in water over there and couldn't make a cut back inside, and they've stopped him about 3 yards short of the first down. It was Sammy Hood who made the play.
I would predict that Pat Dye will run the football on this down, not risk a punt, but run the football, or at least do something to keep the ball on the ground and use up more seconds on the clock, which is the enemy right now of the Alabama team.
Coming up on 2.5 minutes to play. Alabama with only 1 timeout remaining.
And they're going to take it right now.
Auburn
is, I mean, yes.
So Auburn will have no timeouts remaining at 2 minutes and 32 seconds to play in the game, and the Tigers leading by just 3 points.
The best spark plugs that Champion has ever made just got even better. Because Champion's new expanded Copper Plus spark plug line is now available for just about every domestic and imported car sold in America. From Chrysler to Renault, from Buick to Volkswagen and everything in between. Copper Plus, now ready to improve the performance of your car. Because no matter what you drive, nothing sparks like a Champion.
Well, that set of numbers, I guess, is about the summary of things, isn't it? 232 is definitely in Auburn's favor. The scoreboard is in their favor. And they apparently are going to run the football here because Alabama has only 1 timeout remaining and probably would be reluctant to spend it until they get farther down the clock. But right now the chore is to get the ball away from Auburn. It is 4th and 3. And it's Campbell throwing. That's going to get flagged. Chris Woods ran up the back of the Alabama defender now. Was the Alabama man blocking him? Sammy Hood. Or was it offensive interference?
If it's offensive interference, it's a 15-yard penalty and loss of down, which means he'll move the ball out to the 45-yard line and give Alabama a chance.
Johnny Cook, the referee, indicating that it's going to go that way.
Oh, that's a tough break against Auburn. It's going to really put their defense to the test. Good call, Keith.
Offensive interference against Chris Wood. He ran right up the back of Sammy Hood.
Well, we talked about it during the year that the offensive man's responsibility is to dodge the defensive man. Now you can see it's a 15-yard penalty and loss of down.
And Alabama ain't dead yet.
It's a loss of down.
That's a loss of down.
So it's first down.
Obviously, Johnny's equipment is wet. Sorting out on him. 2 minutes and 26 seconds to play in the ball game. You see the collision there. The offensive man went right up the back of the defensive man. And if I can just figure out where the football is, it's on the 44.
What looked like a virtually impossible situation for Alabama now comes to a possibility, if not a probability.
Clock will start with 2:26 to play in the ball game, and Lewis back to throw. Can't get it away. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Might have been Donnie Humphrey that slapped it away, number 79.
Humphrey made all Southeastern Conference in 1981. Number 79, let's watch the bottom of your screen, was redshirted last year with an injury, couldn't play. But he does the great thing. He jumps just at the time and knocks it down with his right hand. Number 79. That's great pass defense there. That's the kind the coaches like. The ball never gets away from the line of scrimmage.
Second down, 10. Run it. Carrying it is Perry Good, and he goes for a first down as he reaches the Auburn 45. And the clock shows 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the game.
We must remember that Auburn is only leading by 3 points. I hope I read it right this time. Field goal would still give Auburn an outright championship if they tied. So I think Alabama would go for the touchdown and disdain the field goal.
First and 10. Ball on the Auburn 45. Walter Lewis, a little quick one over the middle. It is slapped away and intercepted by Vic Beasley. He was intended for Preston Gothard. Slapped away and into the arms of Vic Beasley with his second interception of the day.
Just a tremendous effort by the safety man, leaving his feet as the ball was deflected and scooping it off of the turf for the interception. Another big play. You can see the tight end, number 86, Preston Goffin, is wide open. The ball is right on the target. All he has to do is look it in. But Tommy Powell, number 9, knocks it away. Now watch this effort. Beasley makes a great effort and comes in up with the interception.
And Alabama now 3 turnovers in the football game. Auburn with 2. Time remaining, 1 minute 53 seconds. Auburn has the ball and a 3-point lead. And all you need to know, really, 1 minute and 53 seconds to play in the football game. A 3-point lead Auburn. Vic Beasley's second interception has given the Tigers the ball at their own 32. Alabama with 1 timeout to play with. Ball goes to Bo Jackson, picks his way through the crowd, gets it across the 35 to the 36. Bo Jackson has had the biggest day of his career. And the most valuable players in today's ball game, the Chevrolet MVPs for Alabama. Defensive tackle, Randy Edwards. He's been a stalwart defensive warrior for the Tide. Bo Jackson, well, he carried 20 times for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. Auburn and Alabama each received from Chevrolet $1,000 for their general academic scholarship funds. About 8. The time remaining, they can't run it out. Alabama spent its last time out now. They're still going to have to give it up, aren't they?
If they don't make a first down, Keith, it will come right down to the very last 10 or 15 seconds before they have to punt the ball. If they were much closer back to their own goal line, they would give them a safety rather than punt it. But right here, I think they would go ahead and punt it.
Well, they got a first down. That may slam the door. Randy Campbell, one more time for the War Eagles.
The option play is still the toughest to defend in football as we look at Ray Perkins. And now the Auburn staff feeling victory right within their grasp. Now they can run the clock out without snapping the ball. If they want to, they can fall on it and use the 25 seconds between plays, and the ball game will be over, and Auburn will be the champions outright. What a great year for Pat Dye and his team.
No timeouts remaining for either team, for that matter, and they just snap the ball and get the clock rolling, and they'll be just as deliberate as they possibly can. For the Auburn Tigers, a record of 9-1 on the season. Their only loss was to the powerful Texas Longhorns in the second game of the season, and it happened down at Auburn. But since that time, they rolled off a succession of victories. It's been a big day for a lot of people. Vic Beasley with 2 pass interceptions. For Tommy Powell, who has played very well in the secondary, is a freshman. Beasley is a junior. We've got an offside called against Alabama. So that's 5 yards to bring up first down and 5. That did, however, stop the clock at 1:10 to play in the game.
But they started back, Keith, on penalties now in college. You're right. So they wind the clock down. I must say that both coaching staffs have done a tremendous job. The Alabama offensive scheme to take advantage of the strong Auburn defense was outstanding. Adding the option play and making big yardage on it.
Auburn will go on to play Michigan in the Sugar Bowl January 2nd in the evening here on ABC television. Alabama will go out to the Sun Bowl to play SMU. And now the clock is rolling again. They've got to get one more snap off. And so in their first meeting, Pat Dye has bested Ray Perkins by a score of 23-20. The outcome of the game at this juncture is academic.
Pat James told me this morning, he said, Frank, Pat Dye told me this morning, all we've done is just churn, and the cream has come to the top this year. Outstanding leadership in this second half, Keith. They asserted themselves much better than they did in the first half of this ball game.
And they have just won their second successive victory over the Crimson Tide of Alabama. They won a year ago, 23-20. They win in 1983 by a score of 23-20. And it is the first Southeastern Conference championship for the Auburn Tigers since 1957.
Pat Dye got his conventional ride off the field over to the visiting coach, and he gets down to shake hands with Ray Perkins. They will be battling each other for many, many years.
Well, I don't know what else you could want out of an old traditional matchup to end a college football season. We had a marvelous football game, bad weather notwithstanding. It went right down to the final minute before it became decisive. We were hit by a fierce storm in the fourth quarter. It is still raining. Alabama probably can feel it as they go to their locker room. Auburn, no way. They're somewhere above the clouds right now.
And they should be, Keith. It's been an outstanding season for them.
So Auburn, the SEC champions for 1983. 23 points has been a magic number for the Auburn Tigers. They won with 23 points by a point a year ago. They win by 3 today with 23.
Keith, we saw a great inspired effort by both teams.
Played very well under the circumstances.
Emotional in every sense of the word.
Full stadium. When the bad weather hit, a lot of folks left early to go home or find some more secure shelter. It is still raining, but it appears that particular storm has sort of moved beyond Legion Field, thank goodness. And so the game, the season is done for 1983. Keith Jackson, Frank Broyles, Tim Brandt, and all of our other guys, Jim Lampley and Jack Whitaker and Dino Cook down with us to enjoy this wrap-up of this football season. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arley. Coverage of today's game was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, our technical director, John Allen, our associate director, Garland Pete, our statistician, Dave Burnson, and our spotter, Todd Barry. NCAA College Football, Auburn, Alabama, brought to you by the U.S. Armed Forces. It is a great place to start. And once again, our final score from Birmingham, Auburn 23, Alabama 20. The blip provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made through, promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airlines of the 1984 LA Olympic Games and proud sponsors of the United States Olympic team. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
First touchdown in the ball game came like a shot out of nowhere. The second play of the second quarter, and Jackson took the ball. You could see that it was a play which was stopped to the left. As he ran to the short side of the field, he then reversed his way back to the wide side of the field where there were plenty of blockers and few defenders, and there was the excellent block by Chris Woods, number 1, inside the 15-yard line to cut down the Alabama safety man Robinson and make it possible for Jackson to go in with the touchdown that made it 7-0. But Alabama came back behind the big play capability of Walter Lewis and the outstanding receiver Joey Jones. Surely the best 5'9", 155 or 60-pound receiver in college football. Lewis that time had plenty of time. It was a rarity. He didn't have time that often today against the Auburn pass rush, particularly against the rushing of Doug Smith. That time, plenty of time to find Joey Jones at the back of the end zone, and that catch tied the football game at 7-7. And at this point, Alabama was moving the ball with considerably more alacrity than Auburn. Lewis came back on the next drive, a long one, and capitalized with a short touchdown pass to Joe Carter. Alabama went to halftime with a 14-10 lead. And then in the third quarter, Auburn came back with the wind at their backs, and Auburn was able to reestablish control of the football game with the wind at their backs in the third quarter. Critical that at that point they were able to take the lead, because the strategy quite obviously was to try to assume control of the game with the wind behind them in the third quarter, and then hope that in the fourth quarter they would be able to hold off Lewis when presumably he would come back at them with the wind at his back. It didn't turn out that way because the rainstorm spoiled what might have been an offensive fourth quarter for Alabama. In the third quarter, however, the 2 field goals put Auburn ahead 16-14, and then Ricky Moore went 57 yards right up the middle, eluding the tackle attempt by David King of Auburn into the end zone for the touchdown that temporarily put Auburn on top, or put Alabama on top, I should say, 20-16 after the 2-point conversion failed. That's when Jackson came back with this 71-yard touchdown run, which ultimately became the difference in the ball game. The broken tackle there at the sideline, the speed as he outran the rest of the Alabama secondary. There was another outstanding downfield block on the play by Chris Woods, and that wrapped up the victory that made Auburn 10-1 on the season. Bino, 1957, a memorable year for Auburn fans. It was 26 years ago. Not since that time have they been at this level.
Yes, they beat Alabama 40-0. Alabama fired the coach, the Bear King. In 25 games, he won 19 and lost 6. Auburn has won 2 years in a row. They did it in 1969 and 70. Alabama has to be worried about Pat Dye in his third year, has done a superb job.
This was the first time in many years that Auburn was actually favored in the ballgame. Do you believe that the Auburn supporters have achieved what they thought they would get today, a transition where they've reversed the roles and they now dominate?
They can't believe it. They really can't.
All right. We are going to be saying so long now from here in Birmingham. Jack Whitaker, Bino Cook, and myself have enjoyed being with you all year, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next year.